জাস্ট বল ফোনে চালায় রাখ।
থাম্বনেল তো অ্যাড হয়ে নাই ভাই। ওকে, তো এই মোবাইল দিয়ে অ্যাড করি।
You can add it for it.
হ্যাঁ।
Okay, boys, I'm mute করলাম.
All right. I think we're good to go, right?
Yeah.
Go live again then?
হ্যাঁ, just গ্রুপে একটু পাঠাই দাও।
No, Mahin. Why are you putting your sleeve down?
খেয়াল করি নাই।
Rad, you should start tweeting about this.
Yeah, you're right. I will.
And then like maybe do like a screenshot of like do one of the thumbnails or like the logo, you know? Tag people.
I'll just share the link.
Share what link?
The YouTube link.
আমি জাস্ট দাঁড়াও, থাম্বনেলতে অ্যাড করে জাস্ট করতেছি।
You can do that from your phone too?
Yeah.
SANDO GENJI
আসিফের বিটেক ফ্রেমটা আর তো পানি লাগতেছে। এই তোর মাইক মিউটেড আসিফ। Can hear you, not muted but can't hear you.
ফিল্ম কিন্তু অন, জাস্ট তোমরা চাইলে
Can't hear you, brother.
ইউটিউব স্টুডিও।
Wait.
Well, restart it, Mahin.
আবার
No, that's fine. অর্ডার থাকুক। Yeah, এটা সমস্যা না। আবার রিস্টার্ট দিলে আবার একই জিনিসই হবে।
Fair.
কি রিস্টার্ট দিব নাকি?
Man, Asif's frame looks so funny.
না রিস্টার্ট দিছ না, প্যারা না।
ওকে তাহলে ওকে গ্রুপে পাঠিয়ে দাও।
Wait, how long? When did you start it? একদম প্রথম থেকে?
না 1 মিনিট এই মাত্র।
না
আচ্ছা, yeah. Then we're good. Yeah, I thought like wait, প্রথম থেকে. Okay, did we figure out Asif's audio? We couldn't hear him.
আসিফ কথা বল।
এই হালা বইছে
I can't hear you.
It's not working, brother. You're gonna have to change something.
ও সুপার টপ ভাই। হ্যাঁ আপনি জানেন
It's not working.
আরে ওকে ডেফেন করে দিছে কে জানি মনে হয়।
না ডেফেন হইলে দেখা যেত।
Oh, leave this.
Asif.
No.
He'll be back.
Yeah, but he has to redo the whole thing, no?
No.
Oh no.
Oh, thank God.
You guys hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
perfect.
Okay, good.
Okay, sharing the links.
Yeah. আমি ব্রো আমার স্ট্রিমের লিংক আমি পাইতেছি না।
ফোনে পাবি না। Go to your computer.
Yeah, ready.
All right.
The viewers কখন আসে? 4 watching,
Yeah,
but
give it like
2 of those us. So I'll give it a second to marinate.
give it like 10-15 seconds.
We can give it a minute or so.
Let the
I'm
viewers
excited.
pour. Okay, we have 6 live viewers. I think we can do the intro now.
6 live viewers. No. We had 11. We can do better.
Okay.
No, we can do better.
We can give it like, you know, we can give it like another 30 seconds. Have you spammed it to all the groups?
হ্যাঁ, Warzone গ্রুপেও দিব।
Yeah, of course. Why are we gonna miss out?
আবার ফাইনাল টিমস দিতেছে। ও ফাইনাল টিমসে চেঞ্জ করছস?
না। ওকে, never mind.
না তাম না।
ওরা সরাই দিলাম।
Oh, we should talk about that. Like that thing that we did. I think we never really did a public announcement about it.
Yeah, we should probably get into that in the start. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys can lead that. আমি অল্প কথা বলবো।
Yeah, you don't have to say much about that at all.
Viewers.
8 viewers, that sounds good.
8 viewers?
Okay.
Yeah, I think we can start.
I think
Viewers,
we can start, yeah.
Welcome to episode 2 of Kothin Poristhiti. It is the SANDO GENJI special episode. As you can see, we're all in our SANDO GENJIs. Some of us have we're not in SANDO GENJIs, but we're trying to make do with what we have. But today I'm joined here today with Tashi, Warzone champion, Auction Tournament Season 3 champion. Oh, there he goes with the pose. We have A Khan, 2-time CDBL champion, Auction Tournament Season 3 champion. Mera fucking Mahin, the greatest Bangladeshi COD player ever, 2-time CDBL champion, and no, he didn't win. I made that mistake again. Warzone champion, yes, Warzone champion. And of course, the birthday boy. Oh wait, mine is the 3-time CDBL champion, right?
Yeah. 3 times.
We have 3 rings over here. All right, and of course the birthday boy Asif Laden, special guest today, Asif Laden, birthday boy. We don't have a frame for him, sorry viewers, but he is also a 1-time CDBL champion. If you didn't know, fun fact. And yeah, I guess we can start, guys. It's been
Thank you, Ryan,
an
for the
exciting couple
introduction.
of weeks.
Thank you for having me.
মিয়া নিজেরে
super excited.
কিছু বলো নাই রায়ান ফাকিং মান্না
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Hagupasa, Silver Surfer.
Silver Surfer.
Warzone
2x
tournament
CDBL
was second
champion.
But yeah, we move. Anyway, guys, it's been an exciting couple of weeks. Well, 10 days or so since we did our last episode.
yeah so yeah.
Who wants to get started? I think we can start with Anaf. Rajakar United on top. How are you feeling after a shaky start?
Yeah. First of all, welcome viewers, and thank you, Hagupasa, for that great introduction. But yeah, it's been an exciting couple of weeks or 10 days or so. We were able to get through a lot of matches. I'm excited about that, but still a long way to go. So as an organizer's point of view, I'm still a little worried about how fast we progress. But yeah, feeling good. We didn't start off the best. We lost our first match, but I think Ryan and my fellow hosts, one thing is we felt like we needed that loss. The scrims have been going so well for us. I think last time when we were talking about this, power rankings, we even spoke about how our team has been doing really well in scrims, and I think that maybe some complacency may have come into effect, and we didn't have the best performing during our first game, but I think we definitely needed it, and we've bounced back strongly since. So yeah, excited about where we are right now.
Best performing. Not that joke in there.
ভাই
No,
আমি তো
congratulations, you guys have-
আমি just like that was yeah.
I'm
Nah,
glad.
I
I'm
mean,
glad.
fair enough.
I was waiting for you to ask that question, বুঝছো না?
Nah, I mean, they've been looking hard. Like they've been steamrolling their
Yeah,
competition
for
pretty
sure.
much ever
For
since
sure.
that first game.
And to piggyback off of that, first game to হারার পরে, at least in my mind, there were a lot of questions about Rajakar United. I mean, I'm sure there was a lot of questions in everyone's mind because not only did they lose the first match, ওরা 3ও খাইছিল আতিফদের কাছে, and honestly, like I was wondering who else would actually follow that up with another victory. But it's nice to see that the team has bounced back and 4 wins in a row at the top, looking good.
Yeah, they look good together, and there were some talks about a 2-man team, but those questions have been answered. I think Rambo and Mark Bro have both looked really good,
Bro.
and Royal Bro also had a really good debut match yesterday. So
Yeah.
I think all 5 of them are pulling up.
yeah Mark his performance against us was very good, man.
Yeah, that last map against you guys and the whole series against AR Heavy.
yeah so
I think he
Yeah.
was really good. Yeah.
অনেক pick up করছে, so এজন্য I guess they're clear number 1, and
I was sorry.
এখন
I just want to
rematch against Josh Mages যখন হবে, একটা ডিফারেন্ট
I'm
স্কোর লাইন
excited
হবে,
for that, man.
একটা
Interesting.
ডিফারেন্ট একটা
It's
স্কোর
gonna be
লাইন
an
হবে,
interesting one.
but yeah একটা ইন্টারেস্টিং
Yeah.
হবে. So this
yeah,
week
for sure.
বলো
No, I was just gonna say just wanted to give my flowers to Royal Bro as well, our 5th. He was able to really step up when we needed him, and just fit in really nicely. So I just wanted to say it's just not really. I know a lot of talk about 2-man team or whatever, but it's really all 5 of us that are putting in the effort. And when we were practicing, he's always present and available to listen to strats and how we're going to be playing situations and scenarios. So yeah, just wanted to give that shout out. Sorry, Mahin, go ahead.
বলেছি দাঁড়াও
My bad.
yeah no worries. This week, right? So আমি নিজে টিম
Yeah.
দিয়ে বলতাম, we played 2 matches, one against you guys and one against George Mages. So we lost both, but our matches against George Mages was very close. The first and only game five as of right now. But S&D,
Yeah.
Yeah.
S&D is just so good to see every time we're on the field. So for the time being, देखी की है, but
Yeah, you guys didn't look good in the S&D, but you look good in all other modes, so
yeah, well,
যেটা একটা বলতে হয়
I don't think you have to.
wait, কেউ কিছু বললা?
Yeah, we can hear you. No, go ahead.
No, যেটা actually বলতে হয় is that Chorus Mages, Rajaka United and AR Heavy. এই তিনটা টিম has actually beaten each other. So আমার কাছে এই জিনিসটা খুব ইন্টারেস্টিং লাগে, right? It might not work out that way anymore, but হয়তো কয়েকটা জিনিস চেঞ্জ হবে when they play again. Like Ryan, you said, I'm also excited for that matchup. But the fact that Anafra Rajaka United has made some adjustments and Chorus Mages, they're also going on a hot streak. Um, so
No,
I
they
want to
look
see
really
how,
good.
yeah, and
Taurus
I
Mages
want
look
to.
really good.
yeah,
That's why I want to see that match and see what happens next because again adjustments will come into play because they've played each other once, and ওইগুলা খুব interesting হবে because the first time it didn't even look like a competition, and Rajak United ওইভাবে Air Heavy কে হারাইছে where it looked like Air Heavy didn't
It
like
wasn't close, yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah it
also
wasn't
Air
close.
Heavy কথা বলতে হবে যে Yamin is now in Bangladesh.
Yeah, Yamcha is
And
now
they've
Bangladesh.
been out of practice for about a couple of weeks now. They've been
That
completely
I
out of
think is
practice.
affecting them a bit more because
More
এবার
than, yeah,
yeah, more than the ping because এবার খেলা দেখে মনে হয়েছে that they were actually like, not connected as
yeah,
আমরা last time we
they
were
looked
praising
very
their
different.
teamwork a lot. They looked very different.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so ওইটা একটা জিনিস, but I'm actually excited to see how they bounce back because that they might make things interesting like এটাই.
They have the roster to be able to bounce back. All of
Yeah,
them are good players. So let's see.
yeah.
I do want to talk on Charles Mages a little bit more though. They look really good. Uh,
Sam Chow on hot form.
Sam Chow.
I'm
I don't
putting on
remember.
the
I don't remember in the first episode. Yeah, we talked about how Sam Chow was. He kind of let his team down in that first match,
Yeah,
and but the way he's bounced back is actually it's tippable. Like the
MVP of
four
the
of them,
second match.
they look like four strong players, like
yeah,
four very strong players altogether.
yeah. আমরা একটু পরে তো I guess discuss করবো, top 10 players of the tournament, not including
Oh,
captains.
yes, that is
So,
our next segment. Yours.
George Mages এর অনেক player দেখবা.
Sam Chow might have made his way onto mine.
And
Yeah,
so
same.
Soros made it. I feel like right now Tomar the top four is pre-established, and as you can see, my team's sitting on fifth, down on fifth. We already lost to two teams which I think are undisputedly better than us, but we're still chasing the top four pretty much. We still have two of them to play, and I think
So
next তিনটা match is gonna be really telling to see if the top four separates itself or not. I hope
Ran,
that's not the case for my team, but it's looking like it will be.
you're yet to play air heavy.
George
Our
Mages.
team.
Taurus
and-
Mages. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is what the table is looking like right now. Ping has not yet played their second game, and I believe we're gonna have a team name change there because we've had a team swap actually,
Yeah.
like a member swap, and a captain swap. Tashvin is the captain of Ping now. For anyone who doesn't know, we had some disciplinary issues with the previous captain Tamim. He has been reprimanded accordingly, and
Disciplinary issues.
I believe it's Ice and Shumit Paul who took his place.
Yes, I
Rhythm
guess I
was
can.
also actually
Uh,
also disciplined in a similar fashion. So
yeah, I think, Ran, I want to just chip in here,
yeah.
and kind of just like give a few thoughts on this, right? Like number one, like when we had we had a lot of discussion, like the four of us, the five of us, the six of us, including all the captains. We've had many discussions before the kickstarted the tournament, about the player pool, like about players' commitments, and like captains and their responsibilities and the expectations, right? So I think for the most part, it's been outstanding. But the couple of cases, with Redwan Bhai, it's registering, and then just not showing up at all. I think it was just really disappointing. And again, Tamim, given his circumstances was also a little different. And I don't think he shoulders 100% of the blame, but his actions were also very disappointing. So I just, just to the viewers and to the community, I wish that, when we engage with the community in this way, and like, put on further tournaments, like তোমরাও একটু চিন্তা করো, like about the commitment that you need to put in as a player, as a participant, um and
And
like the minimum expectation.
right. And specifically, like, these are short frames that I wanted to add, right? These are over a month and a half at max. আমরা চেষ্টা করি to keep the tournaments engaging and actually like make sure মানে এত লম্বা করে ফেলি না যে that people get bored. So it's just a month and a half time commitment that we
It's a big
expect from
time
you.
commitment, but
It is
it
a
is
big
a
time
big time.
commitment,
Yeah,
for sure.
month and a
Yeah,
half
for
is a
sure.
big time
Yeah,
commitment.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like Asif has been sick the last few weeks, but he's still coming to,
Right.
well, last few days.
Right.
He's still been
It
coming to matches, waking up
right.
at 5 a.m.
I want to emphasize on the fact that, at the end of the day, 1 month hook, 1.5 hook, 2 মাস hook, it's a commitment that you're willing to make. At least all
Yeah.
of us are willing to make.
Yeah,
So
and
ওইটা চিন্তা
honestly,
করে আমাদের sign up করা উচিত।
I feel like 95% of the player
Yeah,
pool has been
for
well
sure.
committed.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So it's been really good so far. Like everybody's
Yeah.
trying their best, pretty
For
much.
the world, I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. I
ওইটাই
agree.
Like
ওইটাই at
I
least
can
4
maybe
players are
name
listening.
I can name like maybe the fact that we can name less than a handful of people who aren't actually putting in an effort for the tournament. It's good. It's good to see that out of the
Yeah.
community to step up and to
For
actually
sure.
want to
For
play, to
sure.
be their
Yeah.
best. Yeah.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
even ধরো তোমার ভাই ভি ভাই ওরা হচ্ছে লাস্ট ওদের 3টা ম্যাচ মনে হয় হারছে লাস্ট, right? 3
Yeah.
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 or was it 2?
Currently 2
Last
in a
two.
row.
No, they lost the
But
yeah, they lost their last
মাঝখানে
2 matches, but they've been trying their best to keep practicing, to
Yeah.
keep going at it, to get better results. And it it goes to show that everybody is committing to this whole tournament, the whole process. Other than being so far, but I mean, we've gotten
Yeah.
word from the new captain that they will be committing soon.
তুমি তোমার
Yes, sir.
new
Yeah.
team নিয়ে একটু comments
We
করো
need to
Ashwin.
watch our matches this weekend. Huh?
তোমার
My
new
new
team
teammate.
dynamics
So,
কেমন এটা নিয়ে
yes, guys, here I would like to um play my part. Anafaran already gave a good intro. Ekon, yeah, nobody really likes these circumstances, but we have to work with what we have. And I decided to step up as the captain for previously known as Ping. Ekon আমাদের নাম হচ্ছে from rags to riches, and that's because I'm আমি যেটা বলতাম হচ্ছে আমাদের টিমের কোনো প্র্যাকটিস ট্যাকটিস ছিল না, which was always my complaint. From there to actually kind of practicing, I don't know কতজন তোমরা জানো, but to kind of practicing every single day, যেখানে আমি actually 2 AM to 4 AM খেলে তারপর কাজে যাচ্ছি, and ফাহিম ভাইয়া সকাল 5টার সময় উঠে time commitment দিচ্ছে for 2-3 hours. And I'm also getting the same thing. We got another player যাকে আমি introduce করতে চাচ্ছিলাম, Ice. A lot of you know him. And মানে I am just very happy with, ওকে একদিন ফোন দিয়ে আমি বললাম যে আইস, আমাদের টিমের একটা প্লেয়ার লাগবে, তুমি পুলে ছিল না, সো people will allow that. আমি কথা বলছি, and আইস লাভ দিয়ে, হ্যাঁ ভাই কবে টুর্নামেন্ট শুনছেও. This is what I like about the young kids that play COD, that play with us. I it honestly felt so happy, like the whole situation, because it seemed like I've got a player that really wanted to participate, which was আমি সবাইকে যা বলে আসলাম, which was very important to me. So Rags to Riches নামটা ওই কারণেই, because I felt like যেখানে আমি 2 সপ্তাহে 2 দিন প্র্যাকটিস করতে পারছি, সেইখানে with the new team আমি 1 সপ্তাহে 7বার প্র্যাকটিস করছি almost. So we are welcoming Ice, Kazi Rahat, and Shumit Paul into the team. And Shumit has also stepped up and agreed to play a couple of matches if we really need him. So grateful to him too. and I am excited to see if, I mean, honestly, যেই সিচুয়েশনে ছিলাম সেইখান থেকে আমরা যদি একটা ম্যাচও জিততে পারি, I'll take that as a big dub.
Yeah, as you should, I
Yeah,
think, for sure. Yeah. I guess on that note, Ryan, I was thinking we could maybe just talk a little bit about the other two teams as well, Bhai
yeah,
Vivai and Russell's there. And I think that would also like yeah, be a good segue to start into like the overview of all the matches. But yeah, I just wanted to say on Bhai versus Bhai guys, I think like despite their record, ওদের ম্যাচেস গুলো are close, you know, and আমাদের সাথে the hard points, Rand's সাথে তোমাদের hard points, all three maps, we were very
oh,
close.
yeah.
Um, and then I think what really, you know, set these guys apart a little bit was their S&D. Their S&D was really good, but I think they lost the last two. If I believe,
Yeah,
they
once
lost
six star started getting
against.
banned.
Right, exactly. Yeah, they lost one to Kala B and they lost one to Rajakar United yesterday. So, and though then I think they lost as well. So, their S&D was really good. They had absurdly like insane teamwork in S&D, and they look all
Yeah,
over the place in respawn, right?
yeah.
I think it's
Yeah,
very very interesting.
yeah,
You know,
I
and
don't think,
এখানে
yeah, for them I don't think it's a talent issue at all. I think we're still where we were at uh during episode 1. It's not a talent issue at all. I think ম্যাপে দেখলে বোঝা যায় যে ওরা চারজন আলাদা আলাদা করে খেলতেছে,
এখন
and
that is
ওদের
unless it's
exactly
six
what I
star
mean.
মানে
SND,
they can't মানে
Yeah,
unless it's 6 star SND ওরা একসাথে খেলে না, এটা তো
yeah,
মনে হয়।
ওরা
yeah.
রিসপন্ড মানে নাথিং ম্যান, দে ক্যান্ট মানে সেটা ম্যাচ চাললে হাইরে যায়।
And তারপরও 200 পয়েন্টের মতন করছে, 210 220 করতেছে
ইয়া
এখন।
এটাই।
ইয়া লাইক
The biggest thing is যেটা আমার মনে হয়েছে, especially from what I saw in the control with আনাফদের সাথে, this team lacks ice in tight situations, and I feel like the fact that একটু disjointed টিমটা এইটা
আচ্ছা, if you
crucial
think they
moments
lack ice, তোমার প্লেয়ারটা দিয়ে দাও ওদেরকে।
uh,
I was really hoping nobody says
I was
anything, but obviously Ryan
Ryan
has to has to
বলতেই
say
হয়
something.
Ryan. Once
বলতেই হয়,
Straight
Ryan.
every
Like,
two
করো।
episodes,
I
thank you.
apologize, viewers,
Yeah,
on
I
behalf of
apologize
Ryan.
on the behalf
I
of our
apologize.
organizer, main organizer. আচ্ছা,
Oh
but
god.
basically যেটা বলতেছিলাম হচ্ছে যে they lack ice, and the other thing that I saw is crucial moments এ যে ওরা disjointed হয়ে যায়, crucial moments ওরা close out করতে পারে না, and they don't play like a team at that point, individualistic হয়ে যাচ্ছে. But you know, I genuinely am enjoying, like it always seems like they're almost there, so
Yeah,
এটাই,
that's
I hope they don't stay almost there because there's still a lot of the tournament left to play.
yeah.
right. And I was just gonna add, Jay. I think they a lot more of their players need to be willing to be playmakers. I think that's a big part of this tournament. And
Yeah,
one player that we're gonna discuss, I think, further down this episode as well is Dog from AR Heavy. He's a always trying to make plays.
right.
If you look at the top four teams, we have players that are always not just one player. We have more than one player willing to make plays and like make take a risk on the map or something like that, be a little bit more aggressive. Mine's
And that
team
opens up
has,
the game.
Mahin. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Mahin, Bishal, Wasi, a lot of people that
mm,
are willing to kind of be aggressive, take space on the map. Ryan at teammate, we have Raik, Ryan, and Sakibul himself, I think, also has that potential, and I think Ryan is doing a really good job of trying to harvest that
I think
out of
we
him.
try to make too many plays. I think that's
Maybe I
a
was I was gonna say
problem.
I was gonna say maybe that's the তোমাদের জন্য একটু উল্টা.
Yeah.
But Atif at team, you have Atif himself. Sam Chow. Sam Chow is a big playmaker for his team, I think.
Yeah.
Oh
Like
yeah.
he's a big playmaker for his team. I mean, Kazakhstan, we know what Kazakhstan, Blitzkrieg, what these guys are going to be like bringing to the map. But Sam Chow is one guy. He's a playmaker, man. I think if you notice his gameplay, if you watch his gameplay, এটা দেখে বোঝা যায়. Even
Playmaker
if he
দিকটা
doesn't have a
হচ্ছে ওদের
1.5.
চারটা playmaker। ইয়েতে
Yeah,
আতিফদের টিমে চারটা প্লেমেকার, which I think actually ওদেরকে অনেক হেল্প আউট করে in crucial situations, you know,
yeah,
yeah
usually some
মানে
players are
any
not
one of
like
them
that.
can go off anytime, so
এইটাই
একটা
এইটাই
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
They have those bailouts.
yeah
But I don't
Bailout
think, guys,
players.
I necessarily don't think it's a pop off moment because we know King Faraz, he pops off every map. He probably has one of the highest KDs this tournament.
Yeah, I
But I
think
don't,
it's yeah.
I genuinely think it's more than that. I don't
I
think
think
it's
it's a
necessarily
risk
high
taking.
KD.
yeah
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's a risk
sometimes just
taking.
playing a little
Like
bit more
Kalke,
aggressive.
I
Yeah,
think কালকে তোমাদের সাথে সাব-বেসে they were in a good situation. They had a lead in P and they had full P4 control in sub-base.
Yeah.
And they just
Yeah.
sat back in their spawn, all of them, and let you guys walk into the hill. Like, and
Yeah.
if they held that full 60, which they easily could have because they had a 4 down to start with, they would have had a 40-50 point lead going into the last 2-3 hills.
Yeah. For sure. And I guess when we talk about Russell's Viper, I'm a little disappointed, guys, with this team's performance so far. I
Oh,
mean, you
Only
know,
one
Ping,
win against, I believe,
yeah,
Ping, right? Yeah. And they
Ping,
even
yeah,
lost
yeah,
to
yeah,
Bhai Bhai. I think 3-0 ছিল, right?
yeah. No, 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 no. It was
Now
a 3-1.
it Harsilo with some
Some
Yeah,
rule
some.
trouble in
breaking
the
as
This was
map.
well.
আচ্ছা।
Some little trouble, little
There were
trouble in
some
the map.
snakes,
yeah,
some smoking as well.
yeah.
And it was Captain Nonzi himself, so I don't know. There's a discipline issue there. If it starts from the captain,
Difficult.
it's definitely a discipline issue.
Yeah, I mean but then see, this is very counterintuitive because I don't know what to say about this team because we're talking about playmakers, right? I think Nonzi and Prodigy are two big ones. I think they're both they play well together and they're aggressive on the map. They can trade each other effectively really well and they have great chemistry. So I'm just a little disappointed at their performance so far. Thoughts, guys?
Yeah, I feel like
I agree তোমার সাথে।
sorry.
ওদের পারফরমেন্স অনেক ল্যাকিং, অনেক আনডিসিপ্লিন ম্যান। ওরা মানে
Hmm.
জাস্ট পুশ আউট করে, দেন ইফ দে মানে ইভেন ইফ দে উইন গান ফাইটস, মানে ওরা দে আর নট অ্যাডিং পয়েন্টস টু দের, মানে অবজেক্টিভ খেলতেছে না, দে আর নট অ্যাডিং পয়েন্টস। সো ইভেন ইফ দে আউটস্লে
Right.
করে, দে স্টিল লুজ। লাইক when they faced Kalabi, ওদের match they outplayed Kalabi and lost 3-0 or 3-1.
Yeah, like I
3-1.
said, they had both of them combined for 230 kills
Yeah.
in
Yeah, that's
4
absurd.
maps.
So
Four
and they
maps.
lost.
4 maps, yeah, and
And
they
they
still
lost.
lost.
Only
Yeah.
40.
Like I think it is a lack of discipline problem, but I mean we've been through every single team. I think
Yeah.
so far that would be our tournament overview for all of the teams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do have an exciting segment coming up.
Wait,
you
did
guys
you want
wanna
to
move
go
on
through any of
that?
the matches? Or I've
I
just
think we're good to go here.
I think yeah, we
Like,
kind
we
of
have a lot of
roughly
viewers. We can
Oh
get
yeah,
into
yeah,
the fun stuff.
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Anything from
wait,
the chat room? Anything? Yes,
before we
Asif
go to
Ladan, go
the
ahead.
next segment, I think let's go through the chat a little bit because I've seen a few comments. Wait, let me start.
Our
We have
executive
Shadman
producer Asif Ladan
saying,
lead.
এসে নিজের টিম নিয়ে কিছু বলো 62K Titan player. I think that's
Is this Royal Bro? Is this Royal Bro?
Yeah.
Of course, of course.
I think এটা
তো
এটা
বলছে
হচ্ছে
তার
বলছে,
শেষেই,
আমি
হ্যাঁ।
কথা বলার আগে I think বলছে।
Faraz Rahim, loving the stream. Samir Chaudhary, wow.
I think
Rolgo also
Alexander
mentioned
chatটা একটু highlight করো.
I'm gonna go there. Rolgo said যে তার অনেক চালাকি করতেছে. We have Shiab Bhai in the chat. Mark Bro in the chat. Alexon mentioned living up to the Benson Nazib name.
I mean, that should be his new
That's
game
crazy.
ID, I think.
Yo, Khaled, that's really good.
Benson Nazib, Benson Bishal.
Benson Nazim. Yeah,
Benson
the
Nazim is
OG,
too funny, man.
the OG,
OG
smoker
Benson
himself.
Bishal.
Yeah.
রোয়াল ব্রোর আরেকটা কমেন্ট
This-
ছিল যেটা আসিফ লাদন সেইভাবে ইগনোর মারলো।
দেখি মাহির বলতো,
আমাদের সাথে যে
আমাদের-
টিমগুলা হারছে সবগুলা ট্যালেন্ট ইস্যু আছে। That's what he said.
না
Well,
অনেক
fair, I guess, to a certain degree.
Bro,
that
this
is-
guy,
না
this guy is hella confident in us.
আমি একটা কথা বলে দিই, যদি রয়্যাল ব্রো থাকতে হারছো তাহলে অ্যাকচুয়ালি জান ইস্যু আছে, জাস্ট সো ইউ নো।
What the fuck? What the fuck?
সরি বয়স,
রয়্যাল
সরি।
তোমার শটগান মারলো মুখে, শটগান অ্যালাউড না।
My bad, bhai V bhai, my bad.
জেকে
Nah, that's
জেকে
real. Listen, Mahi,
Well, bro,
তোমরা কিন্তু
that
আমাদের
was
টিমে
a
কাছে
bad
হারছো
play,
at the end of the day,
bad
হ্যাঁ?
Yeah,
I have to
yeah.
stand
But-
up for my guy here.
Yeah.
No, but then see, I have to say this is another season 3 situation where we had Ashfaq as our, who by the way changed his gamer tag, guys. He goes by Ashfaq Hard now.
Ashfaq
Community
Hard.
update. which is
my
fantastic.
soul.
But I just wanted to reiterate, like having a good fifth, it does wonders for your team. Mahir, you should know this more than anyone, any one of us, because you always get
No,
four
no,
players that
JK,
can
just
play.
I'm joking.
আমি এই সুযোগটা জীবনেও পাইলাম না।
But you have left here.
আমি ও আচ্ছা আচ্ছা true.
Yeah.
আচ্ছা, যাই
Man,
হোক।
they always man is asking for sympathy. This guy Tashi, guys, he's really playing his situation up for the
sympathy
camera.
পাওয়া, হ্যাঁ? sympathy পাওয়া যায়।
আমার ফেসটা
Yeah.
দেখছো?
দোস্ত,
Oh,
তুই সামনে
please.
থাক দোস্ত।
ক্যাপ্টেনের পেজ দেখা।
দোস্ত আমাকে মিস্টার টি এর মতন লাগতেছে। Anyways, we move.
Hey, I think next
Ran.
segment, guys.
Yes, মজার সেগমেন্ট চলো
Yeah,
চলো।
Modjar segment.
Okay.
Chalo, Ryan, give us a little
Wait.
introduction. Give us a little introduction
Sando
for what we're
Genji
doing.
special.
Let me just tell you. So, আমরা হচ্ছে এখন 5টা ডিফারেন্ট লিস্ট বানাবো।
Oh, wait, এটা আগে
5টা ডিফারেন্ট না না না
ওকে
No, no, Ishak had to last.
ওকে
হ্যাঁ you just spoiled our guest, but যাই হোক um so we're gonna go all four of us hosts. We're gonna individually name who we think our top 10 tournament players have been so far, and then we're gonna come together and combine it and make a Kothin Poristhiti top 10 players list.
okay
I think we're all very opinionated. We all watched all the games. I think this should be an interesting segment. We're gonna start with Tashi's top 10,
age
And he's not here.
and he's not here.
No, he is
Now
here.
আমি বললাম
Back
Let's
again.
start
Please,
with
Ashish
Tashi's
top 10
top
দিয়ে শুরু
10.
করলা।
You
আমার
don't
টপটা
have
পরে
to.
দেখো।
কি
আচ্ছা, ঠিক
আমার
আছে।
আমার টপটা একটু পরে দেই, হ্যাঁ।
okay
Does anybody want to get started?
I wouldn't mind
Mahin Kor?
okay
Mine got.
one moment
Okay, don't go on too
Wait.
long about each player though.
so number one undisputed honestly Anaf Khan
Yeah.
you
it's
know
got it.
এখানে আমি আর কোনো কথা বলে আছে honestly মানে numbers speak for themselves I think দাঁড়াও তোমাকে
I'm
একটা
jealous right
for
now.
one moment একটা সেকেন্ড একটা জিনিস দেখাই group stage 123 in 4 maps এটা কেউ দেখতে পারতেছো okay look at this against us so দেখো মানে
That's mad.
এটা ফার্স্ট কথা ইনসেন 112 on 4 maps is insane but ওইটা বাদ দিলাম 123 so any other person কে I don't think কেউ deserve করবে
Yeah, I don't think any player captain included is doing that in 4 maps. So yeah.
that's the মানে my number one এটা কি number 1 থেকে যাওয়া উচিত ছিল
তোর ইচ্ছা, you can
Okay.
still change it up if you want.
okay number 10
Yeah.
আমার number 10 actually
Let's go.
Beast of Bengal
Wow, interesting.
That's an interesting pick.
yeah মানে I don't know to me
Keep going. Keep going.
No,
Keep
you
going.
can
For-
talk
for-
about him a little bit. You can talk about him a little bit, yeah.
well
You can justify your selections. One or two
একবারে
sentences.
পরে করি like why পরে বলি যদি কেউ question থাকে my
Okay.
number 9 is actually well এবার আমি বলছিলাম যে I'm gonna be a bit biased
Fair enough, yeah.
Fair. Damn, I wonder
can't
where
believe you
Vishal
called
is on your
yourself
list
out on
then.
that.
It's high up there my number 8 is Tashi even though খেলে নাই এটা দেওয়া উচিত হয় নাই but to be honest আমি
This is absolutely absurd.
62k value তার জন্য আমি আপাতত দিয়ে রাখলাম but এটা pretty absurd
Almost
I mean,
1
you
KD,
can
know?
also take into account the player himself outside of the tournament if
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what you want to do.
আমিও outside হিসাবে ধরে নিছি mainly on this one number 7 for me is Yi Dog
Yo dog.
Yo dog
Yeah.
himself.
My number 6 is
I just want to say
Vishal.
I just want to say that I just want to say that Dog Amar number 7. That's crazy.
My number 7 is
You
Gamer
guys,
Right.
you guys are absurd.
Number 5.
My number number 5. My number 4 is
I can be on that list, but putting Bishal above me is like blasphemous.
number 4 is Blitzkrieg.
It's with an E. I-E.
Oh.
Yeah, man, get it right.
My number 3 is Kalexon. I'm
Fair.
assuming that he has it. My number 2 is
না,
Syed
Khelekson
I think
বলছে।
King প্যারাই নেই
হবে
What?
Faraz.
এটা তো insane hot
Way,
take,
yeah.
right?
Oof.
This is more hot take than mine.
Wait, am I forgetting someone?
Oh yeah.
No,
Yeah, you're forgetting a lot of
This is
people
your
that I
list.
had.
this is your
Yeah,
But this is
one
your
of the-
list. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
That's
No,
you
but
cannot
there's
change it.
one
You cannot
thing
change
I want to say. Navik
Yeah, go ahead.
nahi.
Captain in the not
Navid
included.
থাকবে কেন? No
Captain's not
captains.
included.
Captain's not included.
Yeah.
হ্যাঁ, এটা 3-4 বার বলা
Yeah,
হয়েছিল
এটা-
তার
So
সাথে।
my
এটা
captain
multiple
include
times বলা
করলে তো
এটা আমি খেয়াল করি নাই। But আমার 3টা ক্যাপ্টেন আছে, so it's okay.
how? Okay, পরেরটা পরে।
এটা easy হবে। হ্যাঁ। আলাপ বলো।
So and my
Damn, আমি নাই
11th
তার মানে।
is get some.
11th.
Okay, we can do a number 11, guys. I would really appreciate a number 11. I'm not even gonna lie. Like just so that I can make my case, I would appreciate number 11.
I run it.
Okay.
Okay. So
Next, Ryan, do you want to go next?
I can go next. Yeah, I don't mind.
Ryan Manna. 10 this
Wait, Mahin. Did Mahin want to justify his? Did you want to talk about your players a little bit?
Like after চারো জনও দেই তারপরে I guess justification দিই
Okay, and then we can justify. Okay, sure, yeah.
and maybe
Okay,
if
sure.
change হয় তারপরে ইয়া করা যায়
তাহলে তো নাম্বার 8 এ তাসফিন আসেও না।
yeah
Yeah,
আমি probably
that's-
তোমারে ডাউনগ্রেড করি ম্যান আরে মানে ইমাজিন বিশাল এত হাই আপ and তুমি মানে the downfall
নিতে পারতেছেন না।
the downfall
Fuck. Why are you setting him up for these jokes?
okay
I don't know why he is.
Okay, you can get my number 1 out of the way.
okay
That's enough. মানে, you can even give like 50 spaces in between number 1 and 2 if you want to reiterate that number 1 is enough. But I think আমার একটা difference থাকবে with all of you is my number 2 is Kalexon.
There.
Yeah. And then from there I'm gonna go to number 10. Number 10 I think Samir for sure, he stepped up. I'm gonna put Bishal at 9. I'm gonna put Sadab Bhai at 8.
I totally forgot about him honestly speaking but okay
I'm gonna put Get Some Bishal Bhai at 7.
Goat some. Man, you guys are forgetting some key players. Getsmon.
I'm gonna put Blitzkrieg at 6.
Wow.
আরে ইটা পারবেন
I'm gonna put Reich at 5. Then Syed King Faraz Rahim 18 at 4.
না আমারটা হট টেকই হবে। God damn. কি দেখতেছি
And
এগুলা?
E-Dog at 3.
E-Dog's way up there but you know I don't disagree
I think he deserves to
it.
be.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
he deserves to be.
yeah okay so that's
Yeah, our
Ryan
lists
Manna.
are very different.
yeah
What about number 11?
I
I actually have
lifted
3
Ryan,
number
do you-
8 players in my top 10.
Ryan, do you have any number 11?
Number 11.
মানে
Oh
shout
yeah,
out.
A shout out
I'd
player.
probably give it to Prodigy.
আমি এর কথা ভুলে গেছি honestly
Or no, I'd probably give Prodigy as an honorable mention.
I'm very surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty surprised with this list as well.
I thought mine would be pretty meta.
Nah,
No,
আমি
it is.
honestly
It is.
the collection pickটা I respected because
Yeah.
মানে ফারাজ ভাই
This guy is
ভালো
insane,
numbers
man.
ভালো
Every time I go
numbers
to him, he
ফারাজ
passes
ভাই
three,
but
tops
he's not
three.
Yeah.
winning while collection ভালো
You know
numbers
what?
and winning so I think আমি
You
ওটা
know what?
সুইচ আপ করে আমি কালেকশন রে কপি একটু হচ্ছে সরি মান্না বাট ইউ নো
No, no, all good.
আমি
It is a dialogue.
আমি আই থিঙ্ক সেফার বেট এটা
Hey, for a bit, by the way, we're just making lists here, man.
You know what? You know what? The thing is
না না
that
কারণ
I
হি
thought
হ্যাজ বিন মানে আউটস্ট্যান্ডিং পারফরমেন্স ছিল ফর এভরি চয়েস
Jogir would be number 45.
what I thought
If we
was
had
going to be my
44
hot
players,
take.
Jogir would be number 45. Sorry, Atif chat লিখছিল Jogir hypothetically কই থাকতো।
আমি জাস্ট আমার ফার্স্টটা ডেফিনেটলি হট টেক আমি জানতাম হবে বিকজ আনাফকে আমি ফার্স্টে দেই নাই আনাফকে সেকেন্ডও দেই নাই আমি
এখন তো
বাট আমি
মেবি
লিস্টটা বানা।
তাসফিন নেক্সট নাকি আনাফ খান
তোর লিস্ট
Well,
আছে
well,
বানাস?
then I guess you can go ahead and start then.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
gonna
Hassan should go ahead.
because আমি
I
আনাফকে
mean
সবার লিস্টে টপে দেখতেছি সো এখানে I mean the two people that I put up is still very high up in Ryan and Mirab's list but I put them above based on what I think মানে Anaf's conferred value was মানে সবাই জানতো 105 কেজি কিনেছে সবাই জানতো he was going to be this high impact player but I'm talking about players আমার opinion I'm talking about players that were bought at a medium value but they pulled up and they're becoming like their 60-70k ace so my number one is Kalexon which I'm glad that তোমার number two দিছো because ওইটার উপর বেস করে like bang to the buck is definitely Kalexon I feel like is number one so
That is a fair
Kalexon is my
assessment.
number one Kalexon is
Collection
number
number
one
one.
Number two is interesting for me. আমি অলরেডি অনেক রেভ করছি এই প্লেয়ারটাকে নিয়ে and এই প্লেয়ারটা আমি আগে অনেক
Mine
খেলছি
তো স্লিপ নেমে গেছে।
Oh yeah,
এই
বলতে
প্লেয়ারটা
হবে
আমি আগে খেলছি and I have to talk about his improvement ওইটার জন্যই ওকে আমি নাম্বার টু দিছি any guesses
Samir.
E-Dog.
it's E-Dog it's E-Dog E-Dog আমাকে actually I didn't think এরকম খেলা দিবে and সবকিছু বাদ দিয়ে I'm glad you guys brought it up his playmaking I think has been a very big surprise for me and that team given that it's Yamin and Sadaf Bhaiya who are slower ARs but they'll do the job they need somebody who will be of course Yamino air দিয়ে playmake করে but they needed a faster player who would playmake for them and E-Dog is giving them that so he's my number two I don't think Anaf needs any introduction or anything else to say. I mean, he's dropping the numbers. He's doing exactly what we all thought he would do. And একটা জিনিস আমি যেটা বলতে চাই আনাফের against is what I also see is that নাভিদ যখন স্ট্রাগল করে তখন আনাফ ডেফিনেটলি ওর মতন আরাম করে খেলতে পারে না and I feel like that is something that I kind of followed with তোমার চরস মেজেস আই ফেল লাইক নাভিদ তারপরও নাভিদ ভালো কিল ফলাইছে ভালো ইয়ে করছে বাট ওয়েন নাভিদ couldn't hold the lanes or নাভিদ was getting traded even Anaf was getting traded of course চরস মেজেস অনেক ভালো খেলছে এটা ওই গেমে but I felt like the trades were there for them and they found a way to stop Anaf which is what teams need to do to actually keep that team at bay it's not a two-man team but I still think that stopping Anaf going just crazy would be key so চরস মেজে যেটা করতে পারছিল অনেকটাই you know they could chain him so I felt like that
একটু
was the
স্পিড আপ কর ভাই,
so
আমরা তো
ওইটাই
ডিসকাশনে ঢুকবো।
নেক্সট গুলো অনেক কুইক হয়ে যাবে
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা।
so number 4 is Waz I mean Waz producing for Mirab's team
I love it
so best আমার মতে মেরাবের টিমে এখন মেরাব বাদেও বেস্ট খেলতেছে so there's Waz then you know again Blitz নিয়েও সবাই যেটা বলছো he is turning out to be another X factor for Choros Mages which is when adds to why Choros Mages is doing so well followed by Blitz is Sam Chow I think আমার যেই জিনিসটা আমি দেখা যাচ্ছিলাম Choros Mages এর আমার তিনটা প্লেয়ারই ইজ ইন দ্য টপ 10 and আতিফ তো ভালো খেলতেছেই so that's why I feel like Torch Mages actually have like a winning year. Number 7 হচ্ছে আহনাফ. Honestly, I don't know if he belongs there, if he doesn't. But আমি আনাফকে প্রডিজিকে এখানে দিছি just because I feel like man ওরা I feel like ওর কাজটা করতেছে এখন টিম হিসাবে ওরা খেলতে পারতেছে না that's tough. But I feel like ও যে জিনিসটা প্রোডাকশনটা দেয় ওটা দিতেছে. Um, then I have Sadaf Bhaiya. Sadaf Bhaiya is one of the people that I actually was thinking about as my honorable mention. I'm actually honorable mention হিসেবে দিছিলাম একটা প্লেয়ারই which was Sadaf Bhaiya. And I just feel like he's their backbone of that team, and you know what you're going to get from Sadaf Bhaiya every single match. Followed by next to এইগুলা এই দুইটা আমি তাড়াতাড়ি করে চিন্তা করে দিছি and মানে I don't even really want to rank them because I haven't thought about it, but King Faraz and Raik, I think they're both very good players. Um, and yeah, I mean, you know, I think both of them are playing under par of what they're capable of, but I think they're still putting up the numbers you would expect.
That is
from them.
fair, yes. I do agree with that. Both are playing under par of what you would come to expect from two players of that caliber.
Correct.
Still playing great, but
Yeah,
also
yeah, that's why I have them on the list.
okay, we
Alright.
can move on to Anaf.
অনেস্টলি আমার কাছে ভালোই লাগছে কারণ আই থিঙ্ক এটা তোমার মানে টুর্নামেন্টের স্ট্যাটস অ্যান্ড টুর্নামেন্টের পারফরমেন্স দেখেই পারফেক্টলি অ্যাকচুয়ালি লিস্ট দিছো মনে হলো মানে প্লাস রেজাল্টস দেখে
I appreciate that. I
But-
appreciate that.
Yeah, but I don't know. Anaf Khan মানে full list
I know that would be but আমার স্কেল অফ ইয়েটা ডিফারেন্ট ছিল because
yeah.
I don't think anybody is going to ask who is having the most impact in terms of all the other non-captain players. But I didn't want to make up like list based on impact,
Acha, which captain did you not have in your list? Wasn't me. Be honest.
I had Ryan, I had Navid, and I had Mir.
You didn't
No,
have Yamin.
No, and I had Yamin. Yeah, চারটা প্লেয়ার ছিল
Okay.
এই চারটা প্লেয়ার ছিল
I
yeah
was
but
gonna call you crazy.
Yamin was far down, and Yamin actually Prodigy and Sadaf Bhai were like more of my honorable mentions. ওরা দুজন গেছে বেসিক্যালি আমি অনেকক্ষণ চিন্তা
আচ্ছা,
করছিলাম যে ননজিকে আমি টপ 10 এ দিব নাকি বাট অনেস্টলি যেটা মনে হলো আনাফ and ননজি are pretty much doing the same thing. Neither of them are getting really like value দিচ্ছে কোনো টিমকে ওরকম, so I just thought that a player would deserve to be there more than the captain. But
Okay,
yeah.
Anaf Khan's list. Are we putting Anaf Khan at number 1? Anaf Khan, let's see.
Yes, I am. I did put myself as number one. I think
Good.
there is no need for modesty, and there is no need to beat around the bush. Um, I've been in really good form the last couple of months, I think. And yeah, I'm excited to see how far we can do with this team. So, not really much to say there. My number 2 is King Faraz. And here I hear the arguments about like expected performance and what they're producing. But guys, one thing we cannot ignore is the fact that any reason in any respawn that this team is close is on the back of King Faraz.
Yeah.
When he plays well, this team gets close. There is absolutely no argument. There's absolutely no argument to that. Absolutely none. And I think both Ryan and Mahin, you've both played Bhai versus Bhai, right?
আমি এখন খেলি।
তুমি খেলো নাই, okay. Yeah. So uh yeah, and that's it. And we know he's really good at S&D, and that team is really good at S&D. So it's only safe to assume that a lot of the play calls and the setups are guided by him. And yeah, I think there is, like, regardless of what we expect of him, it is still a 4v4 game. It is not a 1v1 situation. But yeah, there is in my mind there was no doubt just because impact কথা চিন্তা করলে আর কি, that this team is not getting absolutely blown out of the water, and that's just because of King Faraz, and that is the only reason. Um, my number three is Khaleksan. I think you guys have already talked a lot about his impact and how well he's been playing this tournament. Personally played against him was really difficult to stop, making correct plays. Uh, yeah, we can discuss this further. My number four is Udog. I think very surprising. I think I mentioned this to the organizers. যে tournament শুরুতে, I think before I played against him this year, when যখন আমার player নাম register দেখতেছিলাম, I think nobody really had him such high up on their list. Um, so yeah, I think that speaks for itself. My number five is Blitzkrieg. I think he's also stepped up this tournament. Um, I think he really enjoys this game, and he's definitely putting in a lot of hours, and he's in a good team, a good environment. So I think that definitely showcases uh, how well he's actually playing. My number six is Prodigy. And again, despite the numbers, I mean, this guy, despite the results, I believe in all four matches, this guy has had over 100 kills. If the stats, if we could, I mean, we don't have all the matches, I believe.
ওর চারটে ওর তিনটা
Uh,
আছে
or তিনটাতে, I'm pretty sure that all three are above 100. Can you
113
me?
আমাদের এগেনস্টে ওর নাম কি জানি আনাওয়েত
Prodigy.
someone fucked up
Ahmed
oh no
Ahmed
or
Khan,
actually 36 what the fuck oh yeah ভুল নাই so 4 maps এ 3 maps এ 36 ছিল and আরেকটা ম্যাচে 58 yeah দেখতে পাচ্ছ না মানে ওর
36 58
মানে 36 kills in 3 maps ছিল Prodigy
Against who?
I mean, একশোটা
আমাদের
কিন্তু
team,
কেমনে
my
বললি?
team.
Because ওরা তো থ্রিও খাইছে তিনটা.
দুইটা
হুম।
থ্রিও
ওটাই I don't think ওরা 100 ছিল
Yeah, I don't think 100 ছিল একটা
100
গেম.
ছিল একটা ম্যাচে যেটা 1 and 3 হারছে
My bad. So maybe I looked at it wrong. Um,
you have played
but
many
yeah, minus.
eights with him, so maybe from there.
Yes, I have also been playing a lot with him, but I don't think. I mean, no, we all know what he's capable of.
Yeah.
Maybe I
No,
was
no,
thinking of
no.
someone else then. My bad.
yeah
My bad on that. I don't think. Yeah, but I don't think that alone justified his positioning on my list. Um, I think him being at number six. I mean, again, just the only reason that team is also not getting completely blown out of the water is because a big part of that is Nonzi for sure. But Prodigy is definitely playing his part and trying his very best to carry this team. After that is Reich. Um, I think his name speaks for itself. I think he's definitely up there as one of the best players of the game. A lot of high takeover potential. I think their team just doesn't have the reps and haven't really figured it out in respawn yet. That's why we haven't seen his like utter dominance that we know he's capable of bringing to matches. I think that's why we haven't like really seen that in display fully. But I think the potential itself you can't really ignore. After that, this might be a hot take, but number eight is Getsum. I had Getsum as my number eight, and I think this in particular had to do a little bit more about outside facts and just speaking to him as a player. I think recently, the last 10 days, we've played a lot of eights matches with him. And he's just really good.
yeah
That's
মানে
all.
8 speed
Unless
দিলে
you,
man আমি ওর অনেক আপ দিতাম হাই আপ
yeah,
দিতাম man
but yeah, no, for sure, he's just so good at what he does. He's just so good at playing God.
you know
He makes it so easy for your teammates.
fuck that shit
I mean, it's it is
Stop
is
changing your
last
list,
time I
man.
promise
we're gonna make it an overall list, so it's fine. Um, yeah, so I
What
think
the hell?
I think he just definitely speaks for
Sleeves
himself.
up.
I mean, mine sleeves up.
oh क्या कोई नहीं
After Michal Bhai, I had my number 9 was Sadaf Bhai. I think he's definitely been on everybody's list. Again, really speaks for himself. We all know what he brings to the table.
Yeah,
Very
but
solid for his team.
Number 10.
And my number 10, this was very difficult for me. My number 10 and number 11, very interchangeable. Definitely, I guess we can just get into my number 10. I had to put Samcha on there.
Yeah,
I could not have
I was
Samcha.
thinking, bro. To be honest,
I
both.
could not do a top 10 list and not have Samchow. But it has to be said his first game he was abysmal. And although the comeback has been spectacular.
One for the ages.
Um, yeah, no, for sure. He just hasn't been as consistent, and they've only played 3 games, right? Um,
Yeah.
so or 3 games, or I don't think they've had 4 yet, or maybe they've had 4. I'm not too sure. And my
Three, three, three.
number.
Three and Nectarsis. 4 games.
Actor, so yeah, so 4 games,
Oh,
yeah. Um, and my number 11, my shout out player is Bichel. I think he's also improved his game tremendously over the last few weeks. And he's had a really good tournament so far. So I'm excited to see just how much he develops as a player. Um, and yeah, that concludes my list.
okay, we can go to the Kothin Poristhiti top 10, huh? We have to make an official list here, so let's hope we can get through it
Yeah, yeah,
quickly
yeah.
and amicably.
I guess do we start from the bottom here, or
Yeah, let's start
No,
from
we
10.
start from
I
the
don't know.
top. I think top থেকে easier হবে অনেক। But bottom
Fair,
থেকে
yeah,
করতে
top
হবে।
থেকে probably easier হবে, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. But it's less entertaining.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I think টপের গুলাই আরো easily মানুষ জানে।
I
I
think we
think
can we
number
should
one you can
yeah,
put
fair.
down there, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
number
we can
one.
have we should have a number 11 as well, like a shout out player for sure.
Yeah.
Since we all included.
Honorable mention.
Hey, 9 এর জায়গায় তুই 0 দিছস। আরে
What?
আবার 0 দিলি।
Oh my god, Mahid, what are you on?
ব্রো আমি ফার্স্ট কথা এখানে একটা স্ক্রিন আরেকটা স্ক্রিন অনেক
আচ্ছা আমাদের খুব বেশি disagreement হইলে তখন আসিফ you can chime in.
Yeah.
Asif, our special guest, the birthday boy, hasn't said much today.
I think it's safe to give Anaf, Kalexon, and I don't know, either King Faraz or Yedog. I think
I think Faraz.
King Faraz ইয়েতে কি ছিল আমি জানি না আসলে। Kalexon is number 2, I think, easily.
Yeah, I think Alexan should be number 2. That's the thing. I think he showed up
yeah
in the tournament. Yes, he doesn't have.
So here's my.
He has something in favor for him that Faralpet doesn't. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, like, guys, another thing that I think we can all agree on is that when you have 3 good players around you, they make you better. Like, you just play better. Like, your numbers look better. Like, you guys are just doing better on the map. Like, there is no denying that. Like, I
True,
think.
but you have to factor in winning.
আমরা
You have
আসিফ
to
দাদের
factor in
একটা
winning.
টপ 10 লিস্ট বানাইতে দিই
No,
since
no.
he
It's
is
gonna
here
be
man
almost the same. It's gonna be a waste of time. এই জন্য আমি কিছু বলতেছিলাম।
okay.
Time লাগবে এখন।
Yeah.
না, but আমার
My
কথা হচ্ছে-
argument to that, Anaf, is a great player also makes his team better around him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And
And winning.
I feel like- yeah, I feel like a player like Mahin would take the 3 players Faraz Bhai has with him and make them play a lot better.
Yeah.
I can't say Kalexan would do the same, but I feel like this
Yeah,
is
I don't-
something that
that's-
is lacking in Faraz Bhai's game, that he is not able to elevate his teammates. He does his own thing.
But do we know
on the-
that? I mean,
and
we
to
don't
me
know the
it
ins
looks
and
like
outs of their
Kalexan-
team.
To me, it looks like Kalexan can do that with his teammates.
Yeah.
Right. Actually, yeah. No, I definitely. You guys have made solid points. Mahin, anything to add?
Well, আমিও argue করতাম for Kalexan to be on number 2
On number 2.
yeah
Yeah, fair.
because ওর টেক ওভার potential অনেক হাই তার মাঝখানে মানে he's a genuinely solid air মানে he hold his lanes ও objective ওর খেলতে হবে না because of the team he plays but I'm pretty sure objective খেলতো তার মাঝখানে মানে ও মানে if he's holding a lane to me অনেক comfortably থাকতে পারবা knowing যে তোমার সাবরা অনেক comfortably পাস হইতে পারবে শান্তি যে
But yeah, he does
মানে-
bring a big impact into the map every single matches.
yeah
That's
For sure.
true.
so আমার ও ইম্প্যাক্টটা as of right now actually more than King Faraz after একটা সেকেন্ড লিস্ট দেখার পরে তারপরে ইভেন আমিও সুইচ ব্যাক করছি টু But yeah, I
Mm.
think he deserves মানে top 2
তো আই
easily.
থিঙ্ক এটা নিয়ে যেটা তো কথাই হয়েছে, কিং ফারাজকে আই থিঙ্ক থার্ডে দিতে পারি।
I would actually argue for you, dog.
So I would say
No,
Hedog as well.
you're the one that
মানে
put King
King,
Faraz at 2, man.
No, I know, but then this is a
yeah,
collective list, right?
yeah.
I've heard, but then see, that was I was just thinking from my point of view. But this is a collective list. I've heard
আমরা
everybody's talking
দুজন কিং
points.
ফারাজকে টুতে দিছো, এই জন্য আমি আর কি
I think
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I didn't want to do what Mahin did and like change my list as I heard you guys' arguments. That's not,
Hey man,
you know,
hey man.
I didn't think that was,
Yeah.
you know, that's not the whole point of it was to come in without discussion and without explanation, like hearing each other's thoughts, right? So,
Yeah.
Just
Bro, আমি
tournament perspective হিসাবে, I feel like Edog deserves to be third.
আনফ খান আমি
I
লিস্ট
think,
বানাইছিলাম উইদাউট ইউ, কারণ আমি রিয়েলাইজই করি নাই যে তুমি একটা ক্যাপ্টেন না। লাইক আমি তো গ্রুপে আজকে লিখতেছিলাম যে নাম্বার 1 আই নো কে আনডিসপিউটেড, আমি লিখছি কিং ফারাজ। তারপর আমি লাইক কে জানি সামওয়ান মেনশন যে হ্যালো আনফ খান কোয়েশ্চেন মার্ক নাকি অর সামথিং। আমি লাইক ও
Yeah, it was me.
ও তো ক্যাপ্টেন না ওর টিমে, ও তো ভুলে গেছি ও নেভারও কিনছে। তারপরে আমি বলছি ওকে তাহলে ম্যান পুরো ফুল লিস্ট চেঞ্জ করি। আমি কিন্তু এখনো আমার লিস্ট বানাইছি, আমার মনেও নাই যে সাদাব ভাই একটা রেজিস্টার্ড প্লেয়ার। আমি সাদাব ভাই ইনক্লুডও করি নাই।
জঘন্য আর তুই চুপ কর আর কথা বলিস না।
সাদাব ভাই আমার
আমরা
লিস্ট
লিস্ট বাদ দাও।
Silver Sif wants to bring in wants us to bring in the guest, so I guess we can speed it up a little bit.
Yeah, three তে ইয়েকে দাও, ইডককে দাও। I mean, who was the other guy who had Khalid?
Okay, so here's the thing, right? I like Edog at 3, but I want to justify at 2. Because Faraz Bhai, a great player, one of the best players in the game right now, 100%. But Edog, I've played with the guy. He's another one of those players who I feel like makes the team better.
ইয়া হি
Plus,
মানে
like
হিজ
আমার
মেকিং
জন্য
প্লেস।
উইনিং একটা বড় ফ্যাক্টর। আমার জন্য উইনিং একটা
It's
বড়
not just
ফ্যাক্টর।
about the making the plays factor, but the guy knows how to play with other people.
ইয়া
Yeah.
ইয়া
And with my limited experience playing with him, I've realized that, which is why I'm
Yeah.
not opposed to putting him at 3.
Yeah, আর আমার জন্য
And he
যেহেতু
has
winning
very,
একটা বড়
very
ব্যাপার
good
আছে,
game
কথা
knowledge.
বলছি।
He has very good game knowledge as well.
Who was the other person who had Faraz Bhaiya low? বলো তো?
You.
No, I had him at number 9. I had him
I
very
had
low.
him
Who was the other guy?
3, Ryan had
I had
him
him
4,
4.
4. I had him 4.
Anaf Khan had him
And?
2.
I had him
2.
too.
Correct, 2. Which Ryan had him 4, yeah, okay.
I like putting Edog above
No.
Faraz Bhai just for that one reason is that, and my only criticism to Faraz Bhai's game is that he's not as good at playing with other people as he is at focusing on his own game.
He needs the
Yeah.
vibes.
Yeah.
That's the only problem.
No,
The vibes
Yeah,
not
that's
এটা তো আছেই, but ওটা বাদ দেও,
yeah.
like
He definitely
in
needs
the
the
map, I
vibes.
feel like he does his own thing.
Yeah.
He does it really well,
Yeah,
better than most. But I
He
think
needs the
I
vibe.
wait. I wait being a good team player above that. I think.
Yeah, that's
I think
fair.
Farazের যদি একটু game leadershipটা থাকতো, like he could have done crazy shit in the map.
I don't
Like,
think
he
or
could have
not. I
pulled
don't
his-
think that's a false. I don't know. I think that may be a misunderstanding. People might think that he doesn't, you know, he can't be a good like IGL or he can't like delegate his team well. I think his delivery might be chalked with his team. It was based on joining some team chats and just to see if we're
Yeah.
ready to start the next map or not. Um, yeah, I think it's just a matter of execution. I mean, he definitely knows how to set up for hard points, how to where people should be on the map. He has his, that's why he knows where he needs to be on the map because he understands that really. Get what I'm trying to say. So I think like his execution and yeah, it's definitely like I'm not saying that he's like bad at um like what you guys were saying. Like he's I don't think he's bad at just delegating his team. I think he just
No, it's more like, again, or I just feel like we're at the energy like it depends on the people he's playing with.
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. On that note, I think he's definitely undisputed number 4. Going anything below that is
Yeah. That would
No,
be criminal.
is yeah.
Yeah, no,
That
he
would be
did.
criminal.
Is absurd.
Number
Number 5, I think this is where the real discussion starts, I think, guys. I would have
I think there's a clear 5.
Blitzkrieg, right?
I think I would have
Blitzkrieg.
Blitzkrieg.
Yeah.
Blitzkrieg,
Yeah,
yeah.
আমার
right?
আমারও clear 5 Blitzkrieg.
Yeah, Amaro Clear
Let's see.
5 is, yeah, he's definitely a
Yeah,
top five player
list
of the
দেখি ভাইয়া।
tournament.
I think Ryan has
বললাম যে
something to
list
say.
দেখি।
No,
I
in
had
his
Reich in
face.
there, but yeah, I had Reich in there, but I think a lot of that comes from being on his team. Like, I mean, Reich Bash the Kelaraga, I didn't understand that. Like, this guy's game knowledge is up there, peak.
True, true. I
Again,
know where you're
I
coming
would
from.
say the only thing he lacks is the same thing with Farazba is being able to gel with anyone and everyone. Uh, that definitely hasn't happened for our team yet, but his game knowledge is up there with the best of them. And ওর সাথে খেলে আমি এটা বুঝছি. Which is why I would have him at 5, but I don't think that's enough of a reason. Blitzkrieg is showing it on the map.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna put
So
Blitzkrieg. মানে এখন বাকিরা
yeah.
Yeah, and
I think Blitzkrieg is a
sorry,
clear 5.
I think like Tashvin said multiple times, like winning has to have some weight.
yeah.
And they've
Yeah.
just won majority of their games. So
ওইটাই, ওইটাই।
um
মানে আরাফাত ভাই যে পারফরম্যান্স দিয়ে জিতাইতেছে ওর টিমকে, that has to hold some weight.
Yeah.
So making a list without Blitzkrieg in top 5 is not right to me.
so does that so could we all agree on Reich being number 6 then?
I think
Is that a fair take?
I'm more than okay with putting him at 6. I think you've convinced me about Reich. আমি আসলে এটা
Yeah.
বললাম যে
Yeah.
রাইক again দেখো আমি যেমন ইয়েটা সাজাইছি আমার লিস্টটা রাইক to me is a expensive player that isn't playing like a 60k player right now. So ওই কারণে only আমি ওকে আমার লিস্ট নিচে দিয়েছি।
I think for him
But
ping is a big factor too because
true,
he takes his gunfights that way, and 200 ping he suffers
true.
because he is one that will take gunfights, and we all know higher ping খেললে একটু differently খেলা
Yeah.
লাগে, যেটা he hasn't adjusted yet, and he admitted that to me as well. So I think ping is a big factor for his own personal, let's say, scorecard.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everyone can argue for themselves as well. Yeah, ping.
Yeah, but I feel like some playstyles suffer more.
Yeah. Especially, sub. Aggro sub.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I agree with you.
Like, which is why we saw even Prodigy, a player we all rate very highly, have some stinker matches. Right.
Matabari Prodigy.
His playstyle is also one that can suffer from being on higher ping.
Which brings me to number 7. I think it should be Prodigy,
Oof.
but তোমরা কি বলো?
আর কি আছে লিস্টে? Honestly, number 7. For me personally, in between. Oh, it's gonna be a hot take, but it's gonna be in between Samcho and Bishal.
Wait, আমার লিস্ট একটু দেখি তো।
Yeah, for me, in between Bishal and
Yeah,
Samcho.
I want to put Bishal.
The thing is, I want to put Get Some because
I was gonna say Michel Bhai, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about
You
ping,
know,
right?
honestly,
And this
Ping,
guy's
exactly,
playing on
yeah.
higher ping than anybody,
Michel
and
Bhai
he's
would be my
delivering
honorable
every
mention.
single match. But
Michel
Michel Bhai is
Bhai-
delivering every single match.
Yeah, no, আমি এটাই বললাম
Where
মিশাল
is
ভাইয়া
he?
is number 7 for me. মানে honorable mention মানে ও আমার honorable mention-এ ঢুকে এখনো তো লিস্টেই ছিল না, but যেহেতু ও ঢুকে I'm saying that number 7 I would put.
But you have to have like an argument for any players that you think would be above him right now. So I
আমি
want
যেটা
to hear
চিন্তা
that.
করছি যেটা আমি কনসিডার করি না is this guy is playing from Japan. আমি যেটা দেখলাম অ্যাকচুয়ালি এর মাঝখানে is একটা ম্যাচ যেটা জাপানে খেলছে, bro, this guy had a 1.48 KD না 1.38 KD. I mean আমি এটা খেয়ালই করি নাই যে একটা ম্যাচ জাপান থেকে খেলছে ও উড়াই দিছে।
And বাকি সব ম্যাচেও ভালো খেলতেছে।
সব ম্যাচই ভালো
হ্যাঁ।
খেলছে।
ওইটাই
Like,
ওইটাই So,
considering he probably has the highest ping in the lobby every single time,
Yeah.
he's still putting in work,
I mean,
Yeah, man.
and that takes a
Man,
special
it's a
player.
mere.
But playing this game on 250 ping, but is
Bro,
not
equal
easy,
ping
bro.
হইলে এই লিস্টটা অনেক ডিফারেন্ট হইতো।
Yeah.
I mean, for
Yeah. So, get some.
So we can agree on Get Some at 7.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So far, that
I think,
our list is not
তাই
Say. দেখি তোর লিস্টটা দেখি।
Blitz and Reich were swapped.
তোর লিস্টে নাম্বার 8 কে? ও সাদাফ। আচ্ছা, where did we all have Sadaf in our list? দেখো তো।
Around the
I had
8-9 mark, everybody.
8,
8,
9.
9.
I totally forgot about him. I'm bullet this already, but you know.
I think he's a
8,
safe
9, yeah.
8.
I think he's a safe
No,
8 too.
over Prodigy? I don't know.
আমার Prodigy দিতে চাই, but না তো সবার ইসে প্লাস সাদাফ জিততেছে more, so I would put Sadaf at 8 without a doubt.
The thing is, for me, this is between Sam Chow, Prodigy, and Sadaf Bhai.
Yeah, same. And that
And
those are my next
Vishal,
three.
man, come on, tumra.
And Bishal, yes, right. And Bishal, yes. I
Yeah,
forgot. Sorry, it slipped my mind.
Yeah.
I think the last
I
three
mean,
are between those 4 players.
personally, and honestly, without any bias, আমি বিশালকে honorable mention ছাড়া কোনো কিছুতে দেখতেছি না। So আমার জন্য next three হচ্ছে Sam Chow,
You're definitely
Prodigy,
biased দিয়ে বলতেছস।
It's
No,
a
because
100% bias.
because
100% bias.
Prodigy, Sam Chow, সাদাফ ভাইকে তো তোমরা কোথায় দিবা? They would আমার লিস্টে ওরা আগেই ছিল, so I would put মানে personally I would put সাদাফ ভাইয়া, I think has to be 8, then 9th Sam Chow or 9th Prodigy, and 10th Sam Chow, 10th Prodigy, and honorable mention can be Bishal. That's in my opinion, okay.
Wait, let me.
Because Tomra, how do you guys put Bishal over Sam Chow or Prodigy?
Okay, এটা দেখো Bishal, when we lost, outperformed me.
তো আমার
I don't
পয়েন্টটা
know.
তো
Bishal's been very
কারণ
consistent this
আমার
tournament.
পয়েন্টটা তো আমার হচ্ছে যে জিততে হবে ম্যাচগুলা।
And he's making plays on the map to win
Yeah,
them
that I agree
games.
with. That I agree with, which is why I would still like accept honorable mention. But I'm saying আমার কথা যেখানে কথা বলতেছি যে জিততে হবে ম্যাচগুলা, সেখানে একটা
No, we said that holds some value, not all value. If winning held all value, then Faraz wouldn't be in the top 5 player.
Exactly. That's why Faraz
Yeah,
ভাই
so
আমার
Wouldn't be in
আমার
the top 10, yeah.
low ছিল।
yeah. No, top ইয়ে কি
Yeah.
top 10 ও থাকতো না। If we're thinking about তাহলে তো
Yeah.
টিমে তো ইয়েকেও বলা যেত, bro. Mark has been outstanding. Rambo 5k, Mark 5k. Come on.
Yeah.
You talk about impact মানে value for money.
আমার টপ 8 এ ভালো খেলতেছে, টিমগুলো জিততেছে। So that's how I did it. But এখন তোমরা বলো, like, you know, that what do you guys think? Who should be number 8 আগে এটা বলো। তারপরে একটা একটা করে আসি।
I think Prodigy কে এই গেমে number 8 না দিলে it's a crime.
Yeah, I'm kind of
Like
leaning
think about
towards
like
Prodigy as
look at
well.
the list. Look at the 4 list of players. Forget the tournament. Let's look at the 4 list of players.
So Prodigy 8th is not a problem for me, but the Sadafha should definitely be 9th.
We can get to 9 later, but yeah, I probably agree with you.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I don't know about others.
Bro, tournament bias,
And
man.
Mahin.
Nah, I cannot put Prodigy above Bishal. No disrespect to Prodigy, but
Tournament.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. They have also been like exceptionally bad in like Russell Viper has also been exceptionally bad in the tournament. But see, like they at least have players like Rehan Bhai and Nonzi are not the same players as like Meet Tamid and you know, uh, you know what I mean.
I just don't understand why that's not clicking. But
Alright,
ping, of course.
we're dwelling on this too much, guys.
yeah.
I think
Vote me,
this is-
vote me.
yeah.
Who should be
I think
number 8?
number 8. Tournament wise, I think it's probably the Sam Chow or Sadaf Bhai. Or Bishal.
Yeah, Sadaf Bhai.
Prodigy আসে না। Prodigy
Yeah,
আসে না if we're
Sadaf-
beating the tournament performance there.
Yeah, আমি
So
Sadaf
it's
Sadaf
one
Bhai.
of these three. Yeah, I guess Sadaf
trust.
Bhai. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
And then
And
Bishal
then I
and
think
Sam
9
Chow.
and 10 is between Bishal and Prodigy. Sorry, Bishal and Sam Chow.
Bishal, Sam Chow. Yeah, Bishal and Sam Chow.
Yeah.
I think it's between those two.
Well,
I mean,
Samcho has to be. Well,
I
actually, nah, bro. Samcho had a
Sam Chow
very
has
bad
stronger
game
players
one,
around
guys.
him. And he had a
Yeah,
very
Samcho. Yeah, he has a horrendous. Samcho had a 0.4.
আমি
Listen
তোমাদের
to my
Prodigy
case
কেসে
for
নিব।
putting Bishal above Sam Chow.
আমি
listen to
তোমাদের
my case
Prodigy
for
কেসে
putting
নিব,
Bishal.
but
But listen to my case about putting Bishal above
বলো,
Sam
বলো,
Chow.
বলো।
Sam Chow literally has Atif and two other players in the top 5 in his team. Bishal does not.
At the same
Bishal
time,
is making plays on his own.
at the same time, when Sam Chow wasn't, when Sam Chow didn't perform, they lost that series. Versus when Sam Chow has performed, they've been winning series, right?
Yeah, because he had an abysmal game one.
Yeah, he
Yes,
had an abysmal game and they barely lost. Let's get that out of the way. The high rise control
they
after
barely
restart was
lost.
3-2. The SND was a 5-1 throw. Like the last hard point was the map 4 was the only thing that was a convincing victory.
Whereas Bishal is making some game-winning plays from Mahinstein.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
Sam
think
Chow
you have
is
to
as
get
well.
the
Sam Chow is as well.
আমি
yeah.
ওটাই
I
বলতে মানে
think you
But
have to
Bishal
get
is
your
doing it
personal
more
bias
often.
out of the way.
yeah, I think no, I think our vote still would go to Sam Chow, but I think if all three of you
Yeah,
agree
let's
on
go for
Bishal is
Bishal.
number nine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think 10 should be Sam Chow and 11 Prodigy. I think that's pretty simple. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah, I think,
that is
I
the
think this is a
Kothin
decent
Poristhiti top 10.
list. Yeah. I
11 কে
think
বলছিলাম
Arnaf's pointer is ঠিক আছে, like, you know.
I think now we can move on to the next segment. We're all in agreement here. Anyone have anything to
Yeah.
say?
well
Yeah.
আমি
have a lot
still
of people
prodigy
waiting.
আরো নিচে নামাইতে চাচ্ছি but you know whatever আমি you know
All good, we both.
okay segment তো বেশি long না করি
We had some okay, we kind of had Waz on two people's list and
এটাই
we kind of
আমি
didn't even
আমি এটাই বলতে নিছিলাম whereas আমি prodigy বাদ দিয়ে
we
whereas
didn't
পোস্ট করতাম
yeah was made two people, but I think Prodigy made everybody's list if I'm not
Prodigy
mistaken.
made everyone's list, yeah.
আমার না
Yeah, number 11 টা maybe সরাই দিতে পারো. It is a top 10 list after all.
Yeah, you're right.
We have
So
talked
we'll do
about
shout out
our
Prodigy. Yeah,
Yeah,
shout out
Shout out.
shouted
Prodigy.
him out enough. He's a good player. We all know it.
এই লো
Maybe
Yeah.
time to show it in the tournament.
Yeah, Prodigy. Time for you to maybe win a fucking match, man. God damn.
আমাদের খেলা শেষ ওদের। এখন কি হবে?
Hey,
আল্লাহ। আরে প্যারা নাই প্রদি তাসফিনের সাথে আসতেছে একটু স্ট্যাট প্যাট কইরো
না, আসতেছে না, ওটাই বললাম।
God.
আমাদের তো হয়ে গেছে।
ওদের হয়ে গেছিল
হ্যাঁ, এটাই তো বললাম আমি। আমরা একটা
Yeah,
ম্যাচ খেলছি রাসেলস ভাইপার্স।
and that was against yeah.
I think
I mean,
now we
yeah.
can move on to our next
We can
segment
definitely
now.
move on to our guest. Yeah.
Howard, yes.
I mean,
Yes, bye.
I mean, I don't have to say too much about him. I mean, this guy is the biggest streamer in the Bangladeshi COD community. First of all,
এই
carried the
যে
Bangladeshi COD community on his back through many a tough times. Generational pain in the ass.
Pain in
And-
the ass.
Pure vibes all of the time. Well, not all of the time, except when his alter ego CDBL. Ishak Imrod, Ishak, bhai, how are you? Sorry for
I
the
think
wait.
he's still deafened.
Yeah, wait, let me unmute him. He's server muted.
Track.
Ishak, bhai, how are you? How are you feeling?
Hello,
Sorry for
hello.
the
Welcome
wait.
to the stream. Welcome to the show.
Yes, sir. Shaq bhai, sorry for the wait. How are you
That's
doing
alright, that's
today?
alright. Yeah, good. What an intro. Caring? I wouldn't say caring.
Good times, yes.
but-
Through many a dark time, yes.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But
Gender
nah.
specific.
Other than
Oh, those
other
were
than
some
you wearing a
dark
SANDO
times.
GENJI, it's great to have you, Mr. Ishrak Imrose.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I was thoroughly enjoying the call.
GG.
Sorry, the discussions. The top 10 discussion was, you guys full send that shit. That's pretty good.
How do you feel about the list? এটা দিয়ে শুরু করো।
How do you feel about the list? Yeah.
I think the list it will change. I think you guys will have to, like, players have bad weeks. Players have a bad series, and the whole opinion changes. So I feel like
the day-to-day game we play.
exactly. So I mean, and I think that will change, but it was an impressive list. But like, why have a number 11 in a top 10 list?
shout
I
out
think we felt bad leaving people out.
shout
Yeah,
out
I almost felt bad for the person that didn't make the top 10. It's like, here you go, number 11.
Honorable mention.
Shout out Prodigy.
Yeah. I think honorable mention would have been a better name rather than
Yeah.
top.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's good to be here. Hello, viewers.
Yeah. So
How many viewers do we have? Can we get a viewer count?
as of right now,
I know the viewers-
15, but
23, but now 15.
we peaked at
Yeah,
22.
15,
Yeah.
15.
But currently
15. 15 is still good, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people were excited to see Shag Bhai, so
Yeah, we
I
had a
think
lot
more-
of chats telling us we took way too long with the top 10 list. I'm sorry
Yeah.
guys, we love talking about COD, and I guess that's what we got into. We got into that flow state. But another person who loves talking about COD is Ishak Bhai. What do you think about the
Yes.
auction tournament so far? How many of the matches have you watched?
Well, how many of the matches times how many views have I given?
Oh yes, you've given at least 4 viewers per match that I streamed.
Yeah, because I have to say something, right? And I think a lot of these boys are there, so I think they need to hear it because I've been very critical about it. And Beast, I think if you're in the chat, you're gonna agree on this. They make someone else stream it on Discord so they can watch it there. But viewership on live, limited. Like there's about 10 people watching us, but they're watching through Discord. Not all of them are giving us the views on the platform. Now, Beast, like when he's streaming, there's about 11 people watching him stream on Discord.
And he streams all of our tournament matches on his
And
his
on
POV as well.
Facebook platform, he's averaging about 1 or 2 viewers, and this guy is like a huge level up gamer on Facebook. Level up is pretty big to achieve. So like that just says yeah. So anyone that's watching on Discord, just have it open on your phone. Like just get those views. It's not that hard.
I agree.
Yeah,
আমি যদি
please.
বলছিলাম যে ভাই স্ট্রিমে দেখো প্যারা নাই, তোমরা যদি দেখোই ভাই পাশে জাস্ট ফোনটা ছাইড়ে রাখো, ওই ভিডিওটাতে জাস্ট অন করে রাখো, that would genuinely mean a lot to us.
and interact with the chat because we want to hear everybody's opinions.
Yeah, আমরা কমেন্ট্রির সময়ও চ্যাটের সাথে চেষ্টা করি কথা বলতে।
And
Not all the time.
like,
We're pretty bad at it.
I'll say though, like that is a hard art. Like
Yeah.
playing or looking at something and then also interacting with chat, that's hard. And CDL commentary is hard. It's a fast-paced game, so more than playing, watching it is the hardest thing. Like
Yeah.
what you
Watching
guys
is
when you're
can be
watching
stressful.
watching and
you guys when
learning
you're
from
watching
it.
a CDL match, you guys when you're watching a CDL match, you actually, because you guys watch it day to day, how you guys absorb it is very different to how I absorb it, because I'll probably watch it once a week. And so how I'll follow the game is very different to how you guys are following it. And it's because repetition and getting used to that tempo and all that from a visual aspect is another thing. So I think interacting with chat whilst commentary is hard in CDL, let alone
Yeah, for
playing
sure.
and playing and chatting. But anyways, that's a conversation, separate conversation. In the case
Yeah,
that
thoughts
anyone
on
in the
the-
chat thought that was thinking you guys are not interacting.
আমি ইশাক ভাইকে উল্টা কোয়েশ্চেন না করতে গিয়ে ইশাক ভাই কি বলতেছে ওগুলোর উপর ফোকাস করে আটকায় যাচ্ছি।
Yeah, because I'm a deep talker. Man.
Yeah, that's why we're excited to have you on board. But yeah, just still, still want to hear about your thoughts about the tournament so far, and
I think it's amazing. I think how you guys evolved over from season 1 all the way to season 4. I think from an optics standpoint, the graphics, the overall presentation, everything is far more cohesive, more compact. All those things. It's more
Season
consistent.
1 was done on my notepad on my phone.
Yeah, so and like Wasi did help with a few of those graphics at the back, but like they were all like bits and pieces. So that from season 1 to the journey to the season 4, like the font looks very similar, the color combinations, albeit a bit shocking and all that. That's my personal opinion, but anyways, but I think it goes with an aesthetic. Like to be honest, like personal opinion is personal opinion, but like the aesthetic is there and the consistency in font. Anyways, like you are asking me, I'm going on a full detailed view of it, but I think it looks far more polished. More importantly, the games are being streamed consistently. The games are out there, people are watching. You guys have this podcast going, which is huge. I feel like if I had the ability and the time and all that, 100% I would have done that post every CDBL game because it's deserved. Every player deserves that bit of attention whilst they're playing a competitive sport,
Which
it
is why
just
we
adds
dwell
to.
so long on the top 10 list.
Yeah, like look, sometimes it's like, you know, the viewers sometimes like. Here's another thing: the conversations tend to like we don't realize it when we're in flow, but you might have said the same thing 5 times
A few
already,
times, yeah.
and to a viewer that sometimes becomes very repetitive. But anyways, like that's beyond the point. Like you guys are a bunch of friends talking together at the end of the day, and you're having fun. But from the context of how season 1 to season 4, I think all these things just adds to that hype, adds to that energy, and like I think it's just very polished where you guys are at. The only thing I'll say is this is the new low, right? How do you make it better in
Better.
season
How do you make
5?
it even better? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have
Um,
plans. Let me tell you, we've already spoken
yeah,
about
like
ways that we
have all the
can.
plans, but I'm just, you know, like,
Yeah.
but
Right,
like,
right, yeah.
in all honesty, like, I'm just glad that we're seeing more gameplay. Because auction tournament, one of the things that I feel like I missed a lot of in the prior ones is the visibility of the games happening. You know, sometimes we've had the champions, we didn't even know who the champions were. Now that, you know, this is happening, I feel like we'll have more recognition of who the auction players are, and it'll go wider than just, you know, a siloed group of players and, you know, teams.
For sure. Yeah, I think we can just move on to the questions that we had individually for you. You know, we have a lot of things to discuss and a lot of like topics that we wanted to cover, but some of us had some questions that we wanted to, you know, just uh just let it out and then have a discussion. So, Ryan, you want to kick us off with yours? I thought you had a really good one.
Uh, I think well, I wanted to talk about how you switch on and off between the vibey Shrek GG, who super entertaining to watch, to the bad buzz buzzkill CDPL alter ego so smoothly. How do you do it? It's like the flick of a switch. Like one moment I
On
love
that
this
note,
guy, I could keep watching this guy, and in a second, oh my god, I hate this guy. He's giving me a headache. Like why?
so
How
while
do
you
you do
answer this
it?
question, Shimei, would you also like mind going into the background of CDBL and talking a little bit about that?
Yeah, Midini actually
Yeah,
asked for
well,
that, Cham, because you know you're hosting so many
I'll
things right
probably,
now.
yeah, I'll probably first respond to the question, right? Like,
Yes, of course,
it
yes.
happens often where, like, I'll be in the Discord chat just vibing with you guys or just talking, right? And then all of a sudden, you guys see on the messenger, like, there's a huge CDBL message with at everyone, like, completely different to this guy who's talking, right? I think there's a few reasons for it. Number one, this was actually an interview question. My first, no, not first ever job interview, but like my first ever placement in the world of careers. This was actually my first question. Or like, how do you switch off between being a student, a musician, cricket, and then trying to be an accountant? Like, how do you switch between? But I think the main thing that has polished over the years is probably the fact that in my line of work, there is like we're grilled on conflict of interest and independence, and it's a very boring answer, but like you'll have a day where you're like absolutely with your client, you're just like, you know, bantering, having a vibe, having great session and whatnot, whatever, like just having fun, like, you know, talking about all these things. All of a sudden the next day, hey, like it's your last day here, like, you know, let's go out for lunch. And I'm like, no, we can't go for lunch, because if I do that, I have to report that to the regulators that you're, you know, buying me lunch and stuff like that. So it's actually ingrained in my mind pretty much from all these years of learning and working in the professional space. So I think naturally it comes through, but at the same time, I think now coming back to CDBL, and actually that's a good way to segue to answer Anaf Khan's question, which is CDBL started with, you know, a range of problem statements we had in our mind. Two things at the helm of it all was, how do we create a gaming landscape that is professional and competitive? The second thing was the community aspect. Now, there's community can be multiple things, and however you want to view that piece, it can be a holistic view, social thing. But we wanted to really focus our energy around the competitive side. And from a competitive aspect, I think our biggest problem statement was how do we make this landscape professional in that journey as well? Because my mind was more on, all right, this needs to go into sponsorships, this needs to go into all these things. And so, how do we create that sort of narrative? And from there
Right.
came all this seriousness that if I didn't have it at the foundation of everything, and if we didn't practice that through and through, it would be a lot of re-engineering when we actually had to get to that space afterwards. So if we started off with that expectation from the get-go, then you didn't have to really break it further down and re-engineer anything or fix a culture that isn't there anymore. So for us, it was a very long, very far distant view into the future. Now, how far are we in that view? Probably not as far, but can we get there? For sure. But we move ahead with the comfort that we know that we've created a brand around being very professional, being very serious about a lot of minor things.
It's crazy যে
And
তুমি we বলতেছো প্রত্যেকবার, it's just you doing it.
yeah, that's another thing, right? Like, and often
It's
people
just
ask me like,
you,
who
man.
is this we? Who is this we? And that's another thing, like and that's another thing that comes out of me naturally when I talk about CDL. Somehow not often will I say I will always say we, and I don't even think about it, but naturally, like when I think back, I'm always writing we or saying we, but that's because I see the organization as its own sort of thing, and it's good to be like that, because the more I mix it with myself, the more I'll see myself tempting into saying something that I shouldn't have, or saying something that's inconsistent with what CDBL would need to say, and to create that distance. Like, I don't know, like Achke, like, you know, we posted that CDBL picture on whatnot, and Hagus was like, you know, putting in small dabbles and small shots here and there. But I was just quiet. I wasn't responding to any of that. Because I know, like, Shrek or Ishraq
Yeah, I was
would have
beating you to
responded.
doing it. Yeah.
I want to respond, right? And like, there's so many questions like we get, you know, when we publish rule sets, when we publish certain things. I could say, oh, আর কি কি লাগবে একটা list দে, মানে, you know, that Bangladesh Football Federation. Yeah, but the meme Shrek, basically, I can say so many things that are absolutely wild and banterous, right? But I understand that that's me, but that's not CDBL. So, like, it's almost a religion to make sure, Jay, and it's hard work. But I guess once you get into the practice of it, it works. But like, I'm not the greatest. I make mistakes as well. So there are times I'll fall loose and I'll say something that's not the best, and I'll have to recuperate the damage out of that. But it's a good practice to have, and I think at some point you guys have a very healthy, you know, friendly vibe over the whole organization, like that you guys have going on. And I don't think I foresee you guys having to go into that sort of journey. But you know, there can come a point where, you know,
Yeah, if
that,
we ever want
that
to
may
go
need to.
bigger, maybe.
Oh, like we're not that big anyways. Like I think we're equal and everything. But like, you know, like there might be a need to do that. But anyways,
Yeah, exactly.
but like CDBL, to your point, Anaf, like I think it was mainly to answer some of those broader problem statements, and the biggest thing for us was how do we make it competitive, but at the same time there was that gap between 2007 to 2012. Like there was a huge, you know, community. 2012 to 2019, I'd say Call of Duty became a little edgy. The communities became a little more siloed, but it was all there. There was competition, there was teams, there were people, they were playing, everything was there. But you know, it happened in its own silos. But COVID, with its catalyst, became such a huge thing that the community just erupted. There was so many players, so much energy. Like, how do we create that energy to recreate that 2007 to 2012 era of Call of Duty? The good thing is, the answer we wanted to take was, well, we want to create a professional landscape যেখানে everyone has an opportunity to play competitively, and that's our focus. So
এখানে আমি তোমাকে interrupt করি শাক ভাইয়া,
হ্যাঁ,
and
বলো।
I'm going to actually let you answer, like kill two birds with one stone.
Go for it.
My question, actually, one of the questions that I had, which was the non-trolly question, is that you're actually one of the people that have seen, আমি তোমাকে মজা করে always বলি grandfather of God, and I truly mean it, right? Of Bangladesh
I
God.
don't think so. There are a few
Because-
grandfathers I know of, but like, go ahead.
and that's the thing, right? These are people that I have not heard of. I've worked, I've like, I've known a couple, but to me, like,
Yeah.
you're the, মানে এখনো যে involved সেই সূত্রে the grandfather, because you're like the oldest
Oldest.
No shit. Hey, Royal Bro is feeling so young right now.
surviving
Oldest is an insane thing to say.
oldest surviving
গ্রেভারটা নিয়ে গেছে কবরস্থানে নিয়ে গেছে পুরো
সার্ভাইভিং বলতে এখন
আচ্ছা
যারা
বলো
যাদের
বলো
বয়স হয়ে
Let him
গেছে আর
cook.
খেলে না, I think ওইটার মধ্যে থেকে I think you're the eldest. I don't think
Ishak is like 3 years older than us.
আচ্ছা let him cook.
I think that
Go ahead.
it would
Okay,
be
Ishak Bhai is like
Muslim
7 years older than me. First of all, guys, let's be real.
yeah. And Lana,
So,
I don't think
37
I'm you,
Ishak
that's the
bhai.
only-
so Ishak Bhai is like 33, right?
ইশাক ভাই তোমার age disclose করতে চাও তুমি?
I'm fine. I think most know. Like I was born in '93, so my age is 30.
Damn, that's a 5 years older than me.
হ্যাঁ,
then.
তুই
Damn.
পানি খেয়ে আয়, পানি খেয়ে আয়।
He old man.
Allah. Oh god. So that's been bolo now.
Oh, he's gone.
Frozen
He
Heads.
is gone.
older players in our community যারা হচ্ছে like এখনো খেলে, actively
Yeah,
খেলে.
yeah.
The other one that I
Mhm.
can think of is Mushrik Bhaiya. So
Yep.
the thing is that you actually
Just
have
out here calling people old man. That's crazy.
hot takes, man, hot takes. Sunglassটা খুঁজে পাই না আজকে. But Ishak Bhai is one of the people that actually have seen competitive Call of Duty begin, grow, then go stagnant, and then have that boom again for the
Huh.
Bangladesh. So আমার যে কোয়েশ্চেনটা ছিল হচ্ছে যে the initial boom of Call of Duty, of competitive Call of Duty in Bangladesh happened at a time যখন all the best players were in Bangladesh. I'm talking about old school IBD, old school BD71, even তুমি ইনভলভ ছিল যখন ওই ক্ল্যান ওয়ারটার হইতো and all that. The একেবারে পুরানো, not even competitive বলা যায়, but ওই
When we had proper clans.
team v team mosh pit, তারপরে between teams 4v4, 5v5.
Yep.
So you were there during that time. You're also there now, where we are actually growing in a multifaceted way, where we're taking where we're playing from nations and still competing with each other and trying to have that whole thing alive. Shout out to actually everyone in our community for coming together and doing that, spending their time to do that. So Tomar, what's your take on the old school, like that session and now? What
I
are
think
the major differences you see?
yeah. So I think major differences. I think the level of skill that's available and the way we play the game is far different, and that's for a multitude of reasons. Back pedals back then wasn't there. Cross-platform gameplay wasn't there.
I was hoping you'd bring these up.
Controllers were one-dimensional. You just had controllers, plugged it in, and you played. Movements were not as complicated or whatnot. So, in general, like the accessibility and the ability to play competitively and age wasn't much of a big. Yes, it was. But like echoner khetre, like even if you polarize this conversation beyond Call of Duty and you talk about Fortnite, like if I'm fighting against like a 12-year-old kid who's spastic with his hands, like it's crazy. Like you won't be able to comprehend that even if you had great moves. So ওই জিনিসগুলো has become a definite thing that's in our current state. But I think what was very different then was the competition was more এই যে আমরা এখন যখন রাত্রেবেলা কম্প খেলি like eights and all that. That was very vibrant back in the time. What happened though between 2012 to 2019, which is probably where I sort of didn't participate as much because the game took a jetpack narrative, which I'm not the greatest fan of, but I was also focused on university, so I didn't really get into the game as much. But ওই সময়টায় the clans then polished themselves to become a bit more of that clan wars, and there was a lot of that happening. Now, তখন থেকে IBD and IBD অনেক কিছু became a more of a competition. BD71, there's like the rivalry that we saw was more, I would say, far more PG than what evolved over that sort of 21st century, I guess. Let's say
Thanks to Mehrab and
like
his
between-
cousins.
কি পাটওয়া অমিম ছিল, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know Omim,
Rama
like
mentioned him
so-
in this podcast.
Yeah.
no, so I'll tell you where I come from. Like Omim didn't know how to log in to the game. I still have chats with him. I found him once like in a random lobby, and he messaged me. I was like, "Tumi ki Bengali," and then like somehow we got connected. And then I still have conversations with Omim. He used to ask me, how do I log in? How do I play? And like our blues code, bless code. I don't know if you remember this, but at the spine of your CD, you had blues code, which is if you're a US region, bless code if you're a European region, and
I
that would
remember.
determine how you can log in and download your DLC pack
Yeah,
and stuff.
PSP time
Like এইসব জিনিস,
I remember.
like Omim was an absolutely new player, and we can't think it, like then he apparently there was a point in the middle where he was really good and really talented.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy, like. But to your point, Ashwin, like players evolve, the game evolves, the community evolves, but the most important thing is how do you keep the legacy or like this alive, right? How does this transcend beyond us, right? Like ওই 2007 to 2012 এর মধ্যে যারা যারা ছিল, majority of them are not there anymore. Like
Yeah.
Cyclone 11 is back. He's actually my clan leader, by
Yeah.
the way. Cyrus, shout out to him. And then from there, he was there for a long time, and then obviously he got busy, and things transitioned in IBD. BD71 evolved as well.
But he's back again playing this tournament.
He's back again playing this tournament, right?
Yeah.
But he's not like he's not leading anything as he was back in the day. So it's really about how do you make sure that there is a model there that for communities to continue to use and transcend through. And I think what's happening now is our generation, or let's say our time to shine or glorify. But the thing to always remember is, how does this like go beyond me is something that I always like think about personally, but we always think about as a CDBL as well. If CDBL is not there tomorrow, that's okay. Are there other things that players can continue to thrive in, or the community can continue to thrive in? Do I have the answer for that, or do we have the answers solved? I don't think so.
Discord.
So এটা একটা বড় জিনিস, because partially two reasons that I asked you about this. One is to actually know, and the second thing is I know there was a gap when it was dying out, COD in Bangladesh. At least for bigger communities, it was dying out. There were individual players. There's always going to be individual players for COD, but আমরা as a community ছিলাম না. Now, I don't. Once we actually get busy and we stop, playing like that as a community. At least এই text optics বলে বলে আমাদের এখন যে আমরা grow করার চেষ্টা করতেছি. I just don't want COD to die out, and the next time COD এর বড় সড়ো কিছু একটা হইলো is আনাফ যখন আনাফের বাচ্চাকে একটা স্লাইড ক্যান্সেল করা শিখাচ্ছে. Like I don't.
No, but like
that would be the next.
No, but like practically speaking, that's the natural evolution, right? Like
এটাই আমি বলতেছি.
if you think about, let's talk about like a very smaller time frame, because 2007 to 2024 is a huge time frame. A lot has changed. A lot of people don't even remember they used to play Call of Duty at we time frame it. But if you think about 2019 to 2024, which is probably, personally, I would say probably the most prolific period for Call of Duty Bangladesh. The reason being, recently we've started competing at the Asian region level. I know we've done that before. I remember even 2019 in Meast and ABD was competing at like Singapore tournaments, Malaysia tournaments. So that stuff was happening, but like in very siloed ways and like not much exposure. But now it's getting out to the wider community, right? So 2019 থেকে 2024 there's been a lot that's happened, and I think আমাদের ক্ষেত্রে এই টাইম ফ্রেমের মধ্যে যেটা I would say is, something that's a good enough answer to that is, let's say my friend circle, right? Kire boys. I don't know how many of you know of them, but like a lot of them now. Yeah, and like we used to grind, albeit casually, but we used to play together a lot, right? I just got married. Tokon I was very like just fresh off the press, let's say, off the bachelor life, and then COVID hit. So a lot of things in our lives sort of went stagnant in terms of how much we can go out and stuff. So naturally, the whole Modern Warfare Call of Duty came back to boots on the ground. So I was so excited to play the game. But then turns out my friends are playing as well. But এখন কিন্তু that energy is no longer there. Like my friends, they're now married. Some of them have kids. Some of them are just too busy. So they either sometimes whenever they get the time, they play Resurgence. We don't play together as much. So you'll have that in your circle as well. And like,
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to be doom and gloom, but that will happen.
Yeah.
Like ন্যাচারাল
There is
এখানে কিন্তু
definitely
এই ছোট টাইম ফ্রেমে কিন্তু সরি তোমাকে আটকে ফেললাম ছোট টাইম ফ্রেমে আমাদেরও কিছু এভলিউশন হয়েছে লাইক সিডিবিএলই has had its evolution. Like we started off as a team of 7, right? And then Ryan, Asif, Shumit, Wasi, Fakid. I don't know how many of you remember Fakid.
We all fake it.
So shout out to Fakid Buggy because he still helps me every now and then whenever possible, and
আমি
which is
just
amazing.
one moment লাগবে আমার একটা অনেকবার ফোন দিতেছে আমি একটা সেকেন্ড আসতেছি
Yeah, that's right. So like CDBL started like that. Like we got together and I was like, look, this is what I'm trying to achieve. We've done like by then I had already done like 3 internal community tournaments. So after that it was like, hey, this is the scale I'm thinking. I need your help. Like, what do you guys think? And then we got together and did it. But then the boys got into university. They got busy. They had their own priorities, right? And that's the natural evolution. And to all power to them, I was like, yeah, like that's priority. Go ahead and do it. But at the same time, the talent that they had, the talent that they showed in that process, you're seeing that now because they have that time back again. And you're seeing that now and the energy coming into this, right? And that's great. And that's the kind of evolution that even in my mind is what I would like to see ideally, right? Like if CDBL goes away tomorrow, what are other things that the players can look up to? What are other things that the players still have to think that there's still a community alive? And now competitive Call of Duty is just not the only way to answer for the community. So this is another way of answering to the community as well. So I think these things are just the natural evolution, and the word natural is the perfect word to it. But the one thing I think to always have in your mind, and you don't have the answer for it, but you should always have that back in your mind just to make sure everything that you do has underpinned that, which is how does this transcend across beyond your time here? Because I realistically, maybe like 5 years down the line, I may not even touch Call of Duty, let's say. Hypothetically, hopefully not. But if that happens, like, how does this transcend beyond me? How does CDBL transition to something else? How does Call of Duty Bangladesh continue? Players like Izayan,
Yeah, I
who's
was gonna
very new,
mention him. He's
13-year-old
insane.
kid. Like, how do we
I
introduce
saw
more?
his stream.
Yeah, like,
He's
and look,
so good.
like, and the way he talks, the way he interacts with stream, it's incredible. Like,
And he's 13.
like
Yeah, he's
he's got a level of banter in him that's great, right? Like এরকম talent, how do we cultivate that? How do we capture that? How do we continue to thrive in that? These are all important, and it would, the only way the community can transcend is when you have people thinking about that in their back of the mind. And maybe a lot of people throughout that whole, like the broader time frame, always had that in the mind. Like BD71 had Parthobai, IBD had some of the older people like Shamal Bhai, Rajan Bhai, who used to always support little kids coming in and playing and stuff. So I think these things are always important to make sure that all the players are influenced, inspired to keep on playing, and like we're always there to support, right?
Instead of telling them.
হ্যাঁ মানে এখন আনাফ যদি সারাদিন ইগো চাল করতে থাকে এরকম সেন্টো গেঞ্জি পরে we're going to have a problem, right? Man, I'll tell you how demoralizing Anaf can be, right? Anafের সাথে ওই গতকালের আগের দিন like ইজায়ানকে নিয়ে আমরা we were playing 4 quads, right? And like ভালো খেলতেছিল, like he's playing on like 300 plus ping, and not once did he say I lost that gunfight for ping. Like he did not even complain about ping at any point. That's the best thing about him. He doesn't think about ping, and I think that's just probably because of his age, or just he doesn't think about all those things.
This is the ego.
But
He's good. That's why I get it.
আনাফ ওকে এত প্যারা দিছিল যে কেন তুমি এরকম করে খেলতেছো কি করতেছো কিছু বলো তোমার কোনো কমস নাই হোয়াট আর ইউ থিঙ্কিং মানে অনেক বকা দিতেছিল হ্যাঁ বেচারাটা এত প্যারা খাইছে after the whole session he messaged me like an hour later, hey man, I'm so sorry about my bad performance today, probably lack of sleep or something. And I was like, bro, like I was like, shesh, this kid is done, he's never showing up again. But like
ডিজাইনের জন্য কঠিন পরিস্থিতি
look at this guy. একদম দেখো না একদম কাত হয়ে একদম স্যান্ডো গেঞ্জি পরে যাচ্ছে শালা মারছি তো কি হইছে আবার আসলে আবার মারুম পেদানি দিব এরকম একটা ভাইব দিতেছে anyway but
I
I
enjoy
think the
giving
natural
people a hard
evolution
time.
is
Enjoy people games.
but yeah, like natural evolution is part of the game. It's just that whoever's in the frame now, everyone thinking about how in the back of your mind, just making sure that when I'm not here, like how does this transcend? And to think that deeply about this, you really need to love the game. You really need to love anything to think that deeply, right? So you need to be around that positivity as well. So like not many people are into that. There's only a handful of people, and it's always going to be like that. It's never going to be the extra Johnny is thinking about the same thing. So, and there's the commercial side of things as well. And like, look, CDL in the global landscape is not even making money. Like, if you're an accountant, if you're reading the financial statements, you'd know that they're making a lot of losses in that space. I don't want to explore into that. So, like, the economics side of it is not the greatest either. So, like, you really need to just love this game, albeit all the pain that it gives us.
I mean, to be fair, that is why we're doing this. No one here is
Yeah,
making
exactly.
anything off of. In fact,
Exactly.
Anaf himself is making a massive loss from all of these
No,
tournaments.
yeah, I'm at a major loss from
Yeah.
a lot of the tournaments that I host, because I think like to some of the points that you're saying, Ishak bhai, I think I definitely see eye to eye in a lot of ways that you think, right? And I think one thing that a point that you made ekdom shurute is players deserve that reward, or players deserve that limelight, for them to take this seriously, for them to actually compete in whatever our setting might be. They are still competing, they are still practicing. That's why I always felt like it's very important, no matter how small the tournament it is, whether it's a 2v2 gunfight, 3v3 S&D, 4v4 S&D, or an auction tournament. I definitely, one thing is I want to make sure that any tournament that I host, any tournament that our friends host, has some form of prize pool that that makes the way I think about it is, a lot of these people they're currently younger than me. They're in college, they're in high school, they're students. Let them compete, let them win, and let them at least enjoy a meal outside out of it. That's the least that I can, that I want to make sure that I can provide for the people that do compete in this environment. So that was just kind of like what I was thinking of as you mentioned, like just the players that the community deserve that limelight.
Hey, 100%. And like, there's two things to that. One is, how do you, well, like there's the bigger problems, right? Like, যেমন music itself, even though Bangladeshi music industry is growing and stuff, and I'm in that space as well, music still is not a thing that you can take as a career. You still have to go get your graduation degree, still have to do your economics, masters and whatnot. Like this person, he's got like 20 albums, 20 top hit albums, but he's still in university getting a degree. But Bangladeshi music industry কত পিছায় আছে এখনো, like, so, and we're not going to go into that depth yet, but like, just imagine how far gaming industry is in that perspective.
Right. Yeah.
So, but there's far deeper conversations in that space, right? But like, you're
For sure.
actually right, Jay. For every player to put time in at a competitive spirit, like if they're, তাদের কালকের, লাঞ্চের একটা খরচ হয়ে যায়, that's not bad.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
also at the precipice of why we organized weekend wager rates. It's a community pooled concept, but it's relatively innovative. But it's also a way for the weekly competition that we have. How do we make that so that players have a way to get something back out of their time that they put in to it as well, and just make the community
It's a way
more.
for the game to just matter more to everyone playing.
Yeah, exactly. Playing for something, right?
Right.
That being said, I was telling Beast this a few days back, and I think yeah, I was on the BTV squad chat with Jay. One thing that you cannot solve, like let's say how the community is right now, right? Like let's just take a snapshot of the community right now. If you put $2 million in here right now, that $2 million would just burn out. You wouldn't grow that to 10 mil. You wouldn't grow that to 20 mil. Because the community right now is not ready for that level of investment. Honestly speaking, because there's many reasons, many technical reasons for it. Number one is obviously the game itself. If you have a bad game, you have a bad year from a competition perspective, from a community perspective, from every perspective. And no player here is a professional. No player here is a professional to the extent that they're contracted by a company to play, right? So CDL is different, where Shotzi, like, even if they find the game to be cheese or if they find it to like be annoying, they're still getting played. As I said, they're still getting paid to play, so they're gonna play it, and they're gonna play through that horrible year or whatever. It's very different for us. So if you put too much money in, it doesn't solve the problem. So if a lot of people think, the money is the be all and end all, it's actually not. The true answer to it, and I was listening to a podcast, and the final answer I came up with is actually social impact. So how much impact can you create in this space is what will keep it moving on to a point where you're actually going to see more fruit coming out of it. Now there's
Right.
many conversations to that layer, like how do we extend a pathway to CDL? How do we get players to compete at a global level? How do we get players to compete at the esports Bangladesh level? There are some central esports organizations that are doing a range of tournaments. How do we get Call of Duty in that landscape? And then palm it off to those people. Those are things that we can solve, and then you create an economy of things as well. So I think those are some of the immediate questions and answers that we need an answer
Right.
to and a solution for. Right now is probably like, and it's not anything against what you were saying or anything, but it's more about, if anyone was thinking in their mind, to like just drop money in, increase the money supply, it will work.
Right. Yeah.
It wouldn't.
No. I think, I think. Thank you for clarifying that for sure. I think I definitely don't want it to come off like, yeah, we need more people to step up
Yeah,
monetarily.
100%. I know you
I
did.
just wanted to make just wanted to say that these players that still do give so much of their time
Yeah.
deserve to at least compete for something,
And which is why
you
and which is also why, like, I know you've offered to sponsor a lot of the CD Build tournaments, but I've always said, Jay, like, CD Build tournaments, I'll find a sponsorship, I'll get it, because I never want the players to pull in the prize pool. There's a myriad of reasons for that, mainly conflicts of interest
yeah.
and independence. But there's a range of things. But like, and that's it. Like I sort of contribute to the prize pool space just the same way, with the same sentiment.
Yeah, for sure.
Giving
for sure,
something
yeah.
back to the community. Anyway,
For sure.
It's a long-winded
Yeah.
answer to a very
No. And
outlined
before,
question.
I have a segue question to that, but one thing that you mentioned is a segue to the CDL. One thing that I've genuinely thought about, and people might make fun of me for it, but it's a genuine thought. If some groups of players that we play with, if they were just 17, 18 right now, but I'm in my position that I am currently, maybe even a better position, financially, stability wise, I would 100% try and get challenger exposure to at least like more of a competitive exposure to some of the players that we have that that play the game in a competitive setting. I mean, thinking about Mahin, thinking
100%.
about Navid, thinking about Ryan, very 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 talented players, and they just the reality is time of it our night. This is not something that we ever pursue full time. But if these guys were 17, 18 right now, and I was maybe 35, and I discovered this talent, I'd definitely push it to see how far I could take it. But kind of a segue to a different part of, you're
Yep.
really into music. You're a drummer, you have that part of your life, your work, your family. We know you from a personal point as well. So I was just curious, what made you really decide to step up and kind of be a figurehead for the Bangladeshi quad scene, and how you managed to kind of balance everything. I know we talked about this with Bisto Bengal as well, but I think the Tomate are different because you have wider variety of interests that you also take very seriously. Like, for example, your drumming, your other podcasts, that you've spoken about, your political interests, everything you seem to do, you do it properly, or you give it your 110%. So, what my first question is, what made you step up for the Bengali COD community? Is it truly the love of the game, or you know, and secondly, is how do you always manage to consistently put in 100% into everything else that you're doing in life?
I think both answer will come in the same thing. So I fortunately surrounded my life with things I love doing, and I've kept it. That's the formula. So, and fortunately, accounting seems to be one of them as well. So, which is why I've pursued a career in that. Now, for me, how I personally see it is, and maybe that's me, and not everyone sees it like that, but like when I love something, it's usually like I full send. Like I'll do whatever I want to do, and I'll capture a niche. We niche. I want to make sure I understand it the best. I am able to teach it the best, and I'm able to facilitate whatever it is I want to in that space, but on a niche. But at the same time, the most important thing is I need to surround it with, as long as I love it, I need, like, that's the most important thing. So for me, surrounding myself with only the things that I love doing is probably the most important thing. In terms of managing all of that, dude, like I'm telling you now, like, like no one manages all these things at the best of best ways. Like even if it comes off like that, there are other areas that can fall off a week, a month, or a single day as well. Like the reality is, like, you never really manage it 100% every day. You'll have days where it's just chalked, like certain aspects of your things are just chalked. But the thing is, like, you learn from it, you grow from it, and you just improve from it. But as long as you love the things that you have around you, all the bad stuff, all the failures just seem like an opportunity for you to grow. And I think that's been the case for me. Like if I had a bad day at work, like instead of hating that situation, it's more, like how do I become the GOAT from here in that space? Like because I've that like I enjoy doing it, right? And
Right.
not everyone has the same view with their jobs, right? Like a lot of people just do the job because that's their 9 to 5. They just need to make a money and get bread into the house. So not everyone has that same view, but as long as you're doing the things you love doing, it's most of the effort is sort of natural, and you sort of prioritize it accordingly. I think that's the very simple and sharp answer, and how I see it.
তোমার লাইক ফিউচার মানে নেক্সট সিডিবিএল ইভেন্টটা, সো তোমার প্রিভিয়াস টুর্নামেন্টস থেকে কি ইমপ্রুভমেন্ট ইমপ্লিমেন্ট করতে চাচ্ছ? লাইক ফর আমাদের কমিউনিটিতে অনেক স্প্লিট ফ্রম নর্থ আমেরিকা টু ইউরোপ টু বাংলাদেশ, সো তুমি সার্ভার থেকে শুরু করে আর কি কি চেঞ্জেস করতেছো?
Yeah, no, you've asked a good question. So I remember a team had registered for the 2v2 tournament, and they unfortunately backed out post registration period. But
Name niye?
I won't disclose. There's a lot of teams that backed out, but like, so when they registered, they were like, they shared some concerns around. They shared some concerns around, how is this going to work and whatnot. And the one thing that we can proudly say about CDBL is we've always been very innovative about and responding. So proactive and reactive, or whatever you want to say it. We've always been very up ahead in terms of thinking about where do we want to take this to make sure the community sentiment is captured properly, right? Which is why Vanguard was one of the most difficult phases for Call of Duty. I think Hages mentioned that at the start.
I think MW2 was even more difficult because nobody.
MW2 like the game completely changed in MW2, so that's a completely different. But like Vanguard Airdropter was significant because you had Verdansk, you had like the popularity of Warzone, CDL, everything And then at the precipice of that peak, you just kept thinking that it would just keep going up. Then Vanguard came in with Caldera, and the game just flopped so hard for a multitude of reasons, and that bled over into CDL, unfortunately, as well, which is sad. And the biggest problem we saw at that point was like how, and that's also at the time when CDBL was going through its evolution. Like I mentioned, like our group was like, hey, like we're gonna go into university, and like we just don't have the time and
Yeah,
whatnot. So,
lockdown ended. People also stopped
yeah,
playing
like generally everything just changed. A lot of teams moved. The solution we came up with at that point, which was quite a very new concept at that point, like no one had explored that before, was home and away. And home and away was, I still think, was a very good format, especially because of how we structured it with the scoring system. The biggest issue, and I stand by this because the data tells me everything, and we stand by this issue, which was at that point in time, like we said, the narrative for the game and the community was it was on a downward tunnel. Yeah. People were coming out of the lockdown. People moved. They were not playing together anymore as much. Everyone went back into their silos. So in general, you had a bigger skill-based gap than you had as opposed to, let's say, a Modern Warfare 2019 CDL tournament or a Black Ops CDL tournament, which was one of the greatest CDL championship series that we ever seen. Because everyone was in Bangladesh at that time. Even people that were living in Canada were in Bangladesh when we timed the tournament, because we did it so that everyone was in the same server. So, except this ego challenge guy that's cutely looking at the camera, who from there created a burning desire to create a dynasty team that can never be big, no matter where in the sub-Saharan desert you are. So I think ওই সময়টায় the skill gap was far more broadened for a multitude of reasons, and so the home and away concept seemed like it was not the best answer. It's still actually one of the greatest answers to solve. That being said, I think one thing that we've come to figure out, and one thing we've always been asking for, is a central server in Tokyo or Hong Kong. And one thing that you guys have explored in the auction tournaments, Europe, and for a multitude of reasons, we never thought of Europe as a central server, which is also why we never did that in CDBL tournaments, because we never thought the Europe server logistically and physically is actually the right answer. And we didn't have the answer for a server choice at that point also for another reason, which was not just the fact that I had exit lag and we could have facilitated all that, but for mainly the fact that Europe, physically speaking, is actually not equal distance. Anyways, that's beyond the point. Now, though, with more people having PCs, more people having, limited hardware limitations. Sorry, that's a counterproductive sentence, but anyways, less hardware limitations. I think this has become more and more accessible to us. We can actually do a central server tournament. So what we're exploring at this stage, especially with the weekend wager rates, is really looking at what servers work best. And that's the way we can do it. Currently, our data tells us Tokyo server might be the right answer centrally, and that would be good. And so for us, that would be something that we're going to explore. But we're probably going to do a bit more trials on the wagers and take it from there.
Right. Great. Thank you so much for sharing all that. I think that kind of wraps up all the questions that we had for you. One final topic that we can't, not talk about when we're talking to Shrek GG. Warzone versus CDL.
Oh, I love it.
So
I love it.
So let's get into it.
Silvership Gaming said more questions. Brother, I hope you're ready for this question.
Bro,
things are getting spicy. Anyone in the Discord chat, go into BTV Discord chat and tell them to come into freaking aste aste viewership is going up, because this is the spiciest question.
This is what everybody wants to talk about.
I think bro and আরেকজনে include করে
someone go into messenger chat, controversial conversation happening with Shrek, come in 18 plus. Someone put it in there, like I'm 100% sure this is something we need to talk about, because I want to.
Our trolley question is kind of a basically a sub part of this, so let me add it on, and you can
Go for
you
it.
can like chime that in as well. Is I've played like with you in
Uh-huh.
multiplayer. I've also played with you in Warzone. যেখানে তুমি
Uh-huh.
আমাকে একটা গেমে 6টা রিকন করাইছো।
অনেক
So
আগে।
I don't know when you played with Shrek last. He's a completely different
so
player this year.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
এই
No
দুইটার
more tower camping with HDR.
এটা করেই নেই কোনো সময়, বাট
আমার
হ্যাঁ
এই
বলো।
অবশ্যই করছো তুমি।
ইশাক ভাই আমাকে সোলো মিশনে মাঝে মাঝে পাঠাইতো একটা রেকর্ড নিয়ে আসার জন্য। তারপর থেকে তোমার গেম প্লে তো চেঞ্জ হয়েছে, and that balance from Warzone, CDL, newer versions of Warzone. So yes,
Yeah, okay.
go ahead.
Look, CDL, I think I've moved away from it for
Yeah.
Oh, before
one
you start, could I
main.
say something real quick? I
Yeah,
think
go
this
for it.
was I won't get a chance to say it before. But on your note of CDBL tournaments and the champs tournament in particular, I think this year we have a really good competition.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see a lot of
We'll see.
great teams. Well, yeah, competition. I mean, not really, but I think there we'll have a big pool of participants, and there are at least 4 to 5 really top tier teams that are participating, and a lot of happenings in the back end trying to sign some big name players to play for to play for them for your upcoming tournament, especially given that it's going to be in a more central server, Tokyo server.
Yeah,
Majority of the BD community has been craving
we'll see.
for it.
We won't commit to a single thing, anyways.
Right.
Wasif Farouk just said like bored hoye jacchi, dude. Like we're literally talking about players who play Warzone and CDL at the same time, and our thoughts on that. I think this is quite relevant to your conversation right now. Anyways, I think I'll start with
Damn,
the fact,
coming up
Jay.
with the chat is crazy.
Yeah, because like this is Shrek coming out right now. CDL Shrek has been non-existent for a long time. It's particularly because এই যে দেখছো, see সাকিবুল আপনার এই টপিক আসছে 3 ঘন্টা পরে। See, everyone wants to talk about this, right? And Sakibul's the greatest example in this conversation. Well, Sakibul, you better listen, right? So I think CDL Shrek disappeared a long time back, especially because the whole thing moved to North America, and multiplayer, unfortunately, anything above to like 150 is just difficult. And so I moved away from that life for a long time back. But with Tokyo coming back, Anaf knows this, I've been like very happy. So when next auction tournament, if it happens in Tokyo, I'm here. Like you're gonna see me full sending. I can be a captain, I can be a player, whatever you need me to be.
Oh wow.
But anyways,
I'm excited for that.
that's besides the point. And you'll see a different CDL, Tashwin, to answer that. Like I think you've seen me play CDL, but I don't think you've seen me play Shrek full-time CDL. Anyways, Warzone, I definitely have a lot of reps on that, and that game is very different to multiplayer. But
do you think
that
is
being said, I think both games are different, right?
No, come
What
on.
do you
You
think is
be
harder?
real.
What takes more skill?
What takes more skill to be good
No,
at?
What takes more skill?
I think representing both sides, I can't say one of the other. But what I will say is there are people that are just naturally gifted in COD, like just naturally. Call of Duty is just their thing. You put them in either game and they spend enough time on it, they're going to be just as good enough. In the context of Call of Duty community, Bangladesh, that's the reality. So you, like, if Hagus or Anna or you guys like spent like 1 month on it, I think you guys would.
Bro, when I used to grind Warzone, I used to solo squad people.
Yeah,
You
but
were
like
there.
that's what I'm saying. But again, like game has evolved, so you'd have to come back, you'd have to grind a bit and then get back to it, right? And that's the same vice versa. If a Warzone player went into CDL and they're naturally going to have natural long history with Call of Duty, which is multiplayer in its truest form, and they have that background knowledge, it's not that hard to reset. But if someone had started completely through Warzone, introduced to Call of Duty through Warzone, for them to transition to CDL is completely a new set, right? Now, the greatest of greatest example, and I think they're in the chat, Beast of Bengal, Sakibul 99, right? Like these guys
And
are,
Cookie J.
like they've played Call. Yeah, Cookie J as well, and like who Silver Sif? I don't. Silver Sif is not playing CDL, right? No, he's not.
No, not that
But
I know of.
না
No.
না
Yeah.
ওই সাহসটাই ছিল না ওর।
Yeah, so for them, I think you got your
Bro,
answer from Beast of
Bro,
Bengal.
pulling out the
Jay.
chat is crazy.
Playing CDL on 250 ping isn't that hard. Just adapt korata ekta ব্যাপার. Wow, Cookie J. Oof.
Spicy from
Sure.
Mustard.
Sure, with that 0.25 KD saying it's not that hard is sure, like that'd be fun. No, I'm not talking about Cookie J. I'm not talking about Cookie J.
Oh my god.
I'm not talking about Cookie J, but like someone on top of like 250 ping versing someone who's on 30 ms, you're not gonna be on a 1+ KD. Like it's
I don't
just
know.
not gonna
I think
happen.
it's possible.
TJ can
Very hard. Very hard. It needs to be a lobby full of Asif Ladens, to be honest, for that to be achieved.
Brother, I
ঘুম থেকে উঠাই দিস ওর জ্বর উঠে গেছে আমার দেখো না that
Wow.
Comic Sans font just turned into Times New Roman. ওর ক্যামেরার সামনে চলে আসে
আমাদের মনে হয় একটু
আর দেখো ভিউয়ারশিপ বাইরে যেতেছে ঠিক আছে so many strays being called out but look I think
এই যে
the-
কুকি
the-
যে মিয়া তুমি 007টা নিয়ে রাখো তুমি এখন।
Nah, Cookie J, don't misunderstand me. I wasn't referring to you. 0.25.
Cookie J,
It's more
misunderstand
J.
him.
Yeah, 250 plus ping. If you're playing against like a team that's like pinging like 10 to 30, like it's a very different experience. That is where Warzone is a bit more forgiving because TTK is higher, plates, mechanics, movement, reach out, get up, replate, re-health, and then go back and chal again. Higher magazine size, higher damage size, everything put together.
Proximity mine. Not
Yeah,
have
exactly.
innocence and get away with it.
Everything put
Thermite.
together.
Not
Redeploy
having to
flares,
read what
tokens.
someone else does.
Yeah, look, everything
Just
put
calling your
together.
UAV.
But nothing matters when Chatta Asif Laden is playing either game.
No, but like now you guys are taking it out of context, to be honest. But like everything
Call
put
in a
together,
UAV, why don't you?
and everything
to
put
figure
together,
out
the
where the enemies
game
are.
is are beta responding to this. Everything put together, the game is a bit more forgiving, right? And CDL doesn't have
Easier.
that. Like CDL doesn't make that any like you. It's not easier. CDL doesn't is very different in that sense. Like if you're one shot, you're genuinely one shot. Like you can't hide away that much. The map is small. The areas that you can escape out of, unless you're playing with a team that's not as coordinated and don't know that you're coming out of that to regenerate your health, like you're very likely going to get done. So it's very different how both those games play. And so in those contexts, in very situational, circumstantial situations, CDL is less forgiving than Warzone. But in the grander context of things, like I can even hands down say that I often will go through certain excursions with professional CDL players of Bangladesh in Uzbekistan or in the historical Verdansk or in the mid-game maps like Almaz and Caldera. And I can solemnly say these CDL players have pulled off some plays that you would just look up in the sky and be like, God, like if there was a bin, I will put them right next to that. You know what I mean? So, we've seen that happen, right? So CDL players can make some brain-numbing plays in Warzone. Similarly, I'm pretty sure, especially with so much VODs available now from auction tournament, you see certain Warzone players making certain plays and you go like, wow, that Warzone IQ is really showing. So,
Warzone players এসে জিততে
Yeah,
পারে না।
but I
CDL
feel
playerরা Warzone যে জিততে পারে।
হ্যাঁ বলো আসেন আবার
ভাই Warzone playerরা CDL এসে জিততে পারে না, but CDL playerরা Warzone যে ঠিকই জিতে আসে।
No, so technical resurgence. Now, resurgence is completely different.
Well, we had to start off the season. We had a big map, Uzbekistan
উজবেকিস্তানে
lobby,
তো মিয়া
right?
তুমি আমারে
And
আর
ওখানে তো
আব্বুকে
আমাদের
নিয়ে সেকেন্ড হইছো।
হ্যাঁ,
ওখানে তো
but
আমাদের
like,
আমাদের
তোমরা
দুইটা
কত
সিরিয়াল টিম
বকা
প্লেস
খাইছো and
সেকেন্ড।
কত তোমাদেরকে নিয়ে কতগুলা রেপস করাইছে তুমি বলো।
No,
আর
আমাদের
তোমার তোমার
দুইটা
তোমার
সিরিয়াল টিম প্লেস
ওয়ারজোন
সেকেন্ড এন্ড
টুর্নামেন্ট
থার্ড।
ওয়ারজোন প্লেয়ারদের থেকে যখন খেলছো তখন কই প্লেস করছো তুমি?
হ্যাঁ, কোনটা?
When you had
Yes.
warzone people on your team, where did you place?
I've never played ওইভাবে।
এই যে
এই যে
last
এই
tournament option.
এই যে অপশন
এটা তো ফিফা খেলে।
ও আচ্ছা 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 আচ্ছা।
টেন্ডার চিকেন মাদি ওরা তো
That's
ফিফা
fine.
প্লেয়ার্স। They'll agree as well. Like they play FIFA and they play this game casually.
God.
The fact, wait, hang on. এই চালটা যদি যাও, right? আনাফ খান কতগুলা ট্র্যাশ টক মারছে right before that tournament, right? Okay, আমরা like this was
Okay.
Team
No.
Mahdi, right? Where's Anaf Khan? Where? Oh, he's down there
Listen.
in the leaderboards. Like
No,
I can't even look.
That's not a fair assessment.
That's like me trying to pick up the SMG ammo, which is hidden under the comms vest.
Yeah, of that performance. But what you can't take away from that is the fact that we played 2v4 literally in certain scenarios.
Well,
Like
here's another thing
out
there,
of-
right? Like
listen. If you
তুমি একটা
if
সিরিয়াল
one of-
প্লেয়ারকে
if one
বিট
of-
করে কিনছো, ঠিক
listen,
আছে? আমি
sure
তোমাকে
না,
বলছিলাম,
না, তুমি
আমি তোমাকে
that's fair,
বলছিলাম
that's fair. I
যে
may
get
have
this guy.
messed up on
তুমি
the-
একটা
I may have
সিরিয়াল
messed up on
আইকিউ
the
প্লে
option.
দিছো, ঠিক আছে? সিরিয়াল আইকিউ প্লে দিছো।
তুমি আমার পয়েন্টটা তো ফিনিশ করতে দিচ্ছ না। I'm not even talking about the players. I'm talking
বলো।
about Khaleksan lagged out 3 out of the 6 games. ওখানে কি খেলবো? কি খেলা দিব ওখানে? 3 out of the half the games where your score counts if one of your players isn't even available on the map. How does that count? How do you make fun of that?
And আমি তোমাকে
I'm just
বলছিলাম, I
asking-
was like, why are you taking
So what? You're
taking
saying,
him?
so you're telling me Bullet Mama wouldn't have lagged out? Is that the guarantee you're giving me?
No, I'm just saying যে তোমার একটা Warzone player নিলে হয়তো you're
I'm saying no,
maybe
I'm
you would
saying
have maybe you would have ranked up higher than Team Madi. That's all I'm saying.
I'm saying like it would be valid if I had a full tournament to play. You know,
That's insane.
if I had a full team and if I played the full tournament with a full 4 of 4, then maybe to Megala Bolle would make sense. But I'd have the games my fourth player lagged out. Did you play the tournament with 3 players?
Bro, oh man, the এই conversation
And our fourth player had 1 kill in Resurgence in 6 games. Come on. Now.
you messed up ওখানে honestly.
Yeah, ওটা তো বললাম, ওটা তো
আলটিমেটলি
বললাম।
ওই
That's why
জেল
I'm-
আসে কত দেখো তোমার আনাফ এখন টিমদেরকে ব্লেম করতেছে, হ্যাঁ নিজের থেকে সব বেরোই
No. আমি তো ওর কথাটা
ছিল।
আমি তো ওর কথা বলবো না। He's a new player.
But
I can't say much about him. That's what
let
I'm
me
saying.
also-
My only point is যে I want my তিনটা গেমে my collection lagged out. ওটা কি খেলবো আমি? Then that's like completely like uncalled for from your end.
শোনা, আর আমি একটা জিনিস ক্ল্যারিফাই করতে চাই, বারবার ইন্ট্রোতে এটা বলা হয়, it pains me and it pains a lot of Warzone players who know the game, যে Merab and Tashfin, CDL players, CDL goats. Merab, I know, if there was a Hall of Fame, Merab would be the first entrant into the CDBL Hall of Fame for one of that plays he made in Raid, right? I'm guessing you because I'm just gonna fart on it right away.
It was against me as well.
You are a champion in Rebirth Resurgence tournament, not Warzone tournament, right? And I'll clarify. So Rebirth tournament in the language of CDL is like 12v12 on Rust, riot shields, RPGs, ACA kill streaks, cluster
আচ্ছা তুমি এটা
bombs.
বলতেছো বাট
Everything open, right?
দেখলাম আমি কালকে ওটা তো রিভার আইল্যান্ডে হলো।
Hey, but esports World Cup is not the thing. World Series of Warzone, what's that? Where is that happening?
ওটা আমি জানি না, কেউ দেখে না এটা।
কে বলছে তোমাকে কেউ দেখে না?
Okay, so what you're saying is, আমাদের
World Series of Warzone World Cup.
একটা Warzone tournament
জিনিস তো
জিততে
বলতে
হবে
হবে,
on
World
the big
Series of
map.
Warzone এর viewership is far higher than most viewerships in Call of Duty events, number one. Number two, however, I'll give Esports World Cup this. I don't know how many of you seen this, but the trophy concept with the trophy is insane.
good.
I
Is
don't
is insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really good.
insane. Anyways, that's
Yeah,
besides the point.
and they're pouring money into it too.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and the Drop Shot podcast has been talking about it. Oh, sorry, no, the Flank podcast talked about it. I think Sam was cooking when he said Saudi is going to come in and invest all the money and save CDL. Right? You're seeing it
Yeah.
happen. You're seeing it happen.
Yeah.
Literally,
Esports
yeah.
World Cup resurgence. It was a fast because the notification came very late. There's a lot of back end stuff to it, and I'm not going to go into all of that. But the resurgence was the quickest thing that they could do and put a lot of money into. That is not the
Yeah.
format.
Well,
World
so
Series
then
of
why is
Warzone. World Series of Warzone is the format. But anyways, like taking nothing away. Mirab and Tashwin.
I've been taking the piss out of Warzone and this whole
Fantastic,
time. But I
guys.
have
Like, you
to
guys are
say
champ-
though, like talent definitely translates to both modes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being on the same team as two of the best Warzone players, pretty much.
Yeah.
I can see how quickly they're learning because I've played with a lot of people for many years who have not made the amount of progress that they have made in 2 weeks.
Shout out to
So-
IBS. Yeah.
Shout out Sumit.
Shout out to Asif Laden even.
But Sakibul ki niye ekta জিনিস বলতে হবে, right? Like this guy is ego child monster. মানে আনাফ খান যদি 10x হয় in ego child, like Sakibul is just 50 million x. মানে ওকে
Okay,
তুমি কোনো
why
কিছু
is-
ওকে যদি
why is
তুমি
there
কোনো
a
কিছু
notion that I ego chill all the time? Anyways, go ahead.
মানে Anaf was meant to trigger me. ও দেখি ট্রিগার হয়ে যেতেছে। But
না এটা তোমাকে আমি জিজ্ঞেস করতেছি, তোমার সাথে তো আমি সিরিয়াল খেলি না।
আল্লাহ না অ্যাকচুয়ালি আনাফ
Sakibul, yeah. But
রিসেন্টলি
you can
আনাফের
see
সাথে
that
অনেক
they have
সিরিয়াল
a good
খেলতেছে ও
era
অ্যাকচুয়ালি
there.
একদম ইগো চাল করে না ইজ
I know.
বাট ওর অপারেটরটা অনেক কিউট ম্যান লাইক ওই জ্যাকেটটা ব্লু জ্যাকেট একটা মানে মহিষ টাইপের একটা ম্যান এত জোস লাগে স্পেশালি যখন সোডা স্ট্রিমের পাশে দাঁড়ায় থাকে ম্যান এত জোস লাগে মনে হয় দিস ইজ দ্য পারফেক্ট প্লেস ফর দ্যাট অপারেটর টু সেন্ড
Yeah,
But
I know.
anyway.
I have a history of getting very unique operators every
No, but
game.
like that operator is a vibe. I love that. But hey, mane, like he Arnav doesn't ego chal if anyone's thinking that. But Sakibul, মানে ওকে যেটাই বলবা ও কথাতেও ইগো চাল করে কথার মধ্যেও ইগো চাল করবে মানে
100%.
তুমি ওরা যদি কিছু বলো ওরা হক কইরা দেখা হক
Tactical chill.
আরে আমি ওরে
বুঝো তুমি
যদি
খালি
একটা
বলতেই
SME
আছো তুমি
জানবে।
এরকম কি যে বলতেই থাকবে কিছু একটা না কিছু বলবি ও মানে হিল হ্যাভ হিজ
না,
লাস্ট সে
ও কথার উপরে কথা বলে হ্যাঁ ও বলেই আমি ওই দিন বলছিলাম কি যে মিয়া আমি সব ম্যাচের টাইমিং পাঠাইছি গ্রুপে তুমি এখন আমারে জিজ্ঞেস করতেছো কেন প্র্যাকটিসের সময় ও আমারে বলছে আমি তো এগুলো দেখি না
সেগুলো দেখি না।
He's like, তোমার গ্রুপ চ্যাট কে দেখে
এগুলো
ভাই?
দেখার টাইম আছে এগুলো কে
হ্যাঁ।
দেখে
But like what I wanted to say was like the talent definitely translates the way they're picking up the game quickly. I mean, maybe not quick enough for us to be a top contender in the tournament. I will say that probably won't happen the way things are going.
Hmm.
But
but
they're
yeah,
getting better every day.
যেমন
getting better every day.
I'll say this though, Sakibuler, when you see the kill cams and you see the feeds, his aim is good, right? And
Oh, yeah.
Warzone একটা জিনিস হলো যে the game, like I said, the game is forgiving, right? So a lot of them when they transition to CDL, their aim is not as good, centering is not as good because the game is forgiving. You can miss a few shots and still get them dead, right? CDL is very fast paced, like it's quick challs, right? So Sakibuler ওই দিক দিয়ে ওই ট্যালেন্টটা আছে তো এর জন্য ওর ইগো চাল গুলা sometimes is like dude like if you're backing your ego chals go for it. But then I told him gotokali I think or the day before I was like dude like when you're up against a highly skilled team which is going to happen in CDL champs like it's not going to be a mixed sort of team structure. You're going to be versing against equally or far more polished CDL teams. You have to think carefully about how you're taking these shells. Now, obviously, him being him, he's like, "Rakho miya, tumi ekta niye lagaso mone hoy." Mane, you know what I mean? But like that's just setting the context around some of the things that from Warzone that comes in when you're playing CDL, and your mind sort of stuck in that sort of bubble where and that's just muscle memory that you can take that fight because you still have 150 health left. Even though your plates are off. So if your aim is really good, you can still take them off. But in CDL, when you're one shot or your
Very
plates are
wonderful.
broken, you're like literally not even one bullet. Someone can push you and you die. Anafer operator যদি এসে
Yeah.
ধাক্কা খায়, you die. So
না মানে
মানে
আজকে
ওখানে
আজকে র্যাঙ্ক খেলতেছিলাম and Bishal died to a stun hitting him, not the stun exploding. It hit him. He had
yeah,
one health.
exactly.
So,
Yeah. Anyway, but I just wanted to reiterate that because
but
আমি
anyways,
অনেক
a
বলতেছি যে তোমার
long-winded conversation and discussion, and a lot of shots
Yeah,
fired and a lot of bloods
yeah, এই জন্য আমি
hounded
বলতে চাইছিলাম
to
যে
say
Warzone players are also very good.
to
They're
say
all
যে,
very
look,
good.
players are all equally good. I think what becomes very different and starking is when a Warzone player starts coming in fresh off the press to play CDL, he's gonna make some shocking plays. They're gonna be like, this guy is nowhere close to being a COD player. But you give him some time and they'll learn it quite quickly. At the end of the day, Call of Duty is the easiest and the most casual game out there in terms of FPS,
Yeah.
and it's proven. So, if you're not good at that, then you probably I don't know,
Minecraft.
maybe play the story mode.
FIFA,
I heard it.
FIFA, play FIFA.
I heard the story mode this time around wasn't that good, but
No,
you can
go
probably
back to
try
FIFA.
Black Ops Cold Wars story mode. I think that's pretty good, right, Merab? Like, we talked about it. I think that story mode is quite good if you're contemplating that you're not good enough. Is there anyone that we can shout out for that narrative? Asif Laden maybe?
no, not really.
No, Asif. Hey, Asif is a CDBL champ, right? I'm just
Oh.
dissing
Yeah,
him.
he is.
Anyway, guys,
He's probably about to be a 2x CDVL champ.
Oh,
remains to be
Asif
seen.
কোথায়? Cooked. Roman, I like that. Roman, shout out to the exec producer.
Anyway, guys, I think it's again supposed to be shorter, but it didn't end up being shorter.
I might have cooked.
We just love talking, I guess.
Viewership
Do
by
any of
the
you
last
have any more
conversation. I love that.
questions?
I love that.
Do we have any more questions for Ishak Bhaiya, our honorable
Ishak.
guest?
Ishak bhai কেন এসে violence করলো?
I don't have any questions.
Anyways, I think we can end it here, guys.
Yeah.
The whole idea was to make this one a bit controversial and get everyone erupted. Hey, viewership Barca, that's all we needed.
You think we gave Wasi his minute reels, Ishak bhai?
Hey, huh?
কয়েকটা definitely ছিল
100%. Lastly, তো যেভাবে কয়েকজনকে কুক করছি, my god, that 0.25 KD shade on anyone who's on 350 ping was crazy.
যাই হোক guys, thank you Ishak bhai for joining us.
Hey, Cookie J,
For
thank you for
waiting.
it's an Aztec print hoodie. People call it people say this is the homeless hoodie, but I like it. Wasif Farooq just complimented my hoodie.
Okay.
Okay, with that,
I'm
we're
done.
gonna end the stream.
No, hey, hello, outro.
Bolo,
Thank you
bolo.
to Ishak Bhaiya. Thank you to our executive producers. Thank you to the viewers for watching. Stay blessed, stay happy, keep shooting straight. See you hopefully next week for episode 3. Peace out.